equipment. And so it just takes a little bit of unplugging and plugging. That's why there have been a few clunky handovers and so on, but that's the situation. So Tuffers and he's talked for about, hopefully, no more than 20 seconds, and Allison will be here.
Yeah, the England side take the field. It's going to be crucial, isn't it? I think I'm going to go. I was just listening there. I'm going with Stokes and Archer. I'm not quite sure how bad that toe is of Ben Stokes, but they've got to make something happen in here. And a couple of desperate wickets. Only need 2 wickets for me. England get rid of this partnership, and then the skipper, and then they're into the likes of Roach and Gabriel. So you've just got to keep believing. They've been a bit unlucky. I think they've been a bit nervous during that session as well. I saw a bit of nerves creeping in there, Ali. You know, a couple of fumbles in the field, no balls, just that sort of trying too hard. But then sometimes that can make the old shoulders tense and the hands a little bit electric. So England just need to try and relax.
Yep, there was a missed field where there could have been a run out. There was the drop by Buttler. There was a missed catch, albeit it was a no ball by Stokes, so it wouldn't have counted. But just all those things add up, don't they, to say we're not quite taking those chances when they present themselves. And
sometimes it's not because you just don't know why. It's almost because you are trying too hard. And that spell of Jimmy Anderson, just a little bit 2 sides of the wicket, got clipped away through the leg side. When you're in this sort of position and you need, runs are at a premium, you've got to just be hit one side of the wicket, because the gaps are, everyone's spread out a bit trying to save the 4s, and it's easier just to tick over the 1s and 2s, and that's what the West Indies did beautifully. They got England in a position where they didn't quite know what their plan was, but they've regrouped, and I'm sure they've been sitting down and had a bit of a team talk and come out with some firm plans of how they're going to go about this.
Well, plan number 1 is
Archer.
Throw the ball to Jofra Archer.
Plug him in and let him go.
And he is now running in to bowl to Blackwood then. 1 slip in place and a short leg. That one's outside the off stump. No shot offered. And kept a touch lower as well. It was fuller from Archer, but he bowled a scintillating spell, didn't he? Full of menace and venom and fire in that afternoon session.
Yeah, it reminded me of that spell at Lord's to Steve Smith. Really cranked it up. He's going to be tired. He's going to be a bit weary, though, that's for sure. But he's still a young fella. He's got 7 in him, 7 overs in him, and this is the game here for me now. If Jofra Archer doesn't make the breakthrough, England are in trouble.
Blackwood on 65 as Archer is in, and it's defended into the onside. Short leg is there to pick up, and there's no run. Ollie Pope in that position. This Archer's 13th over of the innings. He's got 3 for 35 so far. And the other wicket of this innings has gone to Mark Wood.
You just get the feeling that if England can just break this partnership, the door might be open. But
Holder's in next, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jason Holder.
Yeah.
There is still a bit more batting to come. 2 good partnerships will do it. Fended away, but controlled, actually. Around the corner, turning it. And Buttler is left to chase back to pick up, and a single is taken, and Blackwood is dancing around, kicking his heels to get those legs moving after the tea interval. 56 more needed by the West Indies. I mean, how fantastic is Test cricket, though, isn't it? We waited, what did we work out, Andy? 117 days
since the last men's international match back in March.
From day 1 of this match. So we're now 121 days from when the last international cricket was played. It's all bubbled up to the last session on the last day. Archer in, down the leg side. He made as if to defend it and play it around the corner again, but then raised the arms and allowed it to go through down the leg side to Buttler.
And every edge in this situation, I've been in this situation many times when you're seeing the scoreboard tick down and what have you. Every leg by seems to go for 4. Every edge just goes past someone's hand. It's very difficult to keep your chin up and your enthusiasm going, knowing it's just round the corner.
Archer to Dowrich. He's riding the bounce on his toes, defends it into the onside. Some of these fabulous evening sessions, isn't it? The last session of the day where the sun is shining and these stands ordinarily would be full of crowd on the edge of their seats, wondering which way this one is going to go. 6 wickets for England to get. It sounds like an awful lot.
I must admit, I thought the wicket would misbehave a bit more today, and it hasn't particularly. I mean, the odd one's bounced, the odd one's kept low, but nothing really threatening.
But Woke's on for Anderson at the moment, as Archer is in. It's angled away behind square on the onside, and they'll take a single to square leg. Crawley moves into field. It's another sharp one, and keep adding them up. 55 more needed. It's the end of the first over after tea. The West Indies 145 for 4.
I'm just looking at the body language there. You just saw Jofra Archer sort of kicking the dirt, hands on the hips. There's another little single. They've just squeezed round the corner. They've all built up. They've done that very well. I thought the West Indies might come out and look to be ultra aggressive today and sort of really put the pressure onto England. But I think, as you said, we haven't been out there on the pitch. We haven't been able to sort of gauge it. But they've just decided to sort of like drop anchor a bit, if anything, and play just good test match cricket to get there, and I think it's been proved right so far.
Well, we realised that they had this whole day to do it, and they didn't go out thinking we've got to get these runs quickly.
No.
And in fact, then they were in trouble, weren't they? 27 for 3, remember? England were right on top, feeling like we've got them where we want them, but a stand of 73 between Blackwood and Chase, and then Archer dismissed Roston Chase. Instead, Dowrich has picked up, and they've been able to continue.
Pace barrage, Wood.
Yes, here we go. Archer one end, Wood the other. Anderson off the field at the moment.
It feels a little last throw of the dice.
Let's see if pace and bounce can do it. How will Wood go here? He's going full, and it's been punch driven defensively up towards the offside, and Wood's able to field in his follow through.
Do we know about Ben Stokes' toe? Have we heard anything back from the dressing room?
I don't believe we've heard anything official. He's there fielding at second slip, hands on his hips.
I just feel he's that kind of cricketer who makes things happen, Ben Stokes. Even if circumstances and conditions aren't in his favour, he just has that ability.
Wood wheels at the end of his run-up now, way to his right to run up to bowl, and it's clipped behind square, fielded, though Crawley gets down to it. It's a backward square, and there's no run. Wood, it was a sort of smooth start to his run-up there. He began his run-up with his back facing the pitch and then turned on a heel. It's graceful to watch. Walking back to his mark now.
Sorry, Ellie. And I think the lack of crowd here has just gone against England a touch as well, because you know everyone will be, as you say, in the sunshine. It's after tea, couple of drinks and what have you. They'd be absolutely right behind Mark Wood.
He's running in now. He bowls and punch back up the pitch once more. Dowrich, 16, not out. Been out there for 21 balls. A reminder that the highlights tonight go out at 7:30 p.m. And you can, in fact, watch the highlights of the day as well on the BBC Sport website and app too. That's today at the Test on BBC Two on your televisions. 7:30 for an hour, and then actually the highlights stay on the iPlayer as well. So if you're not able to catch them bang on 7:30 as they go out, so to speak, you can then watch them whenever you like at your leisure. Here is Wood. Racing in now, bowls to Dowrich. It's an uncomfortable length. He looks to try and work it down to the leg side and missed, and it's gone through to Buttler. So no run. I mean, that's the other thing as well. Depending on how many dot balls there are here, we actually get to a tense time where the West Indies are looking at overs remaining and runs required. We didn't think time would necessarily become a factor. I mean, there's a heap of time left in this afternoon.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a draw. No.
It's still 40 overs remaining.
England have got to find some wickets. Wood wheels away again. Up to the stumps. Bowls full and off stump, and can't quite time it. Dowrich up to mid-on. Pick up and no run. Now I want to follow up something I was talking to Carlos Brathwaite about earlier, Tuffers, which is about great blags. Maybe you blagged your way in, because we were talking about people who had left sporting events early and others who had got tickets and managed to get in, and there was somebody who'd got into the World Cup final by telling the stewards on the gate that they were cleaners, they were part of the staff come to clean the stands, and then they managed to get in. And I told her I managed to get into a private Prince gig at a hotel in Hollywood, as Wood is in again now, and it's an inside edge flashing past the stumps down towards fine leg.
2.
They're coming back for a second. Archer with the throw goes to the bowler's end.
And there's
streaky.
And there's that bit of luck that just doesn't seem to go your way sometimes. Great bit of in-swing bowling there, perhaps a reverse in-swinger from Mark Wood, enticing the drive, thick inside edge. I mean, could have cannoned into the stumps that, but you've got to keep going in these situations and just believe. If you get one, you're going to get 2 quickly, get another batsman in on naught. It's got to start, and it has been a tricky pitch to sort of get your eye in.
147 for 4, the West Indies chasing 200 into the evening session. So I was mentioning how I'd managed to blag my way in with Jackie Oatley, you might know, football commentator and presenter, into this private Prince gig.
Right.
And Jackie had reminded me, actually, just earlier in the day, how Brian O'Driscoll, Ireland and Lions captain, was also in this queue trying to blag his way into this concert. And in fact, Brian has tweeted, what a night that was, as Archer is in now. New over bouncer. Looked, he was tempted into playing at that, wasn't he? Short leg in place and gone down that leg side again, taken by Buttler.
Bit of a flick there, not in control, lucky not to get a piece of that.
Deep backward squares in place, fine leg in place. So Brian O'Driscoll remembers it. He says, my pal pretended to be mates with Kanye as he walked to the top of the queue and we got in on the back of that. He said, I didn't even know what we were trying to get into. Then Prince came on stage.
Good work.
That was quite a night. It really was. So Archer, end of his mark. Greetings to Brian O'Driscoll. Archer over the wicket, fending it away into the ground, though it's short leg, uncomfortable that for Blackwood.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, as you say. You can see by his body language he fancied flicking that off his hip for perhaps a boundary or a couple.
And a big vacant area through that onside.
Yeah.
The square leg, but nobody in front of square beyond short leg. There's a mid-on in place, but if he works it through that mid-wicket region, it's 4 all the way.
Yeah, or you get any sort of bat on it, you're getting value for your shot.
Here comes Archer, one slip, third man. Archer is in, he's riding that bounce, defending it to Pope at short leg, who leans down, picks up. Archer walking back to his mark.
He's played well, Blackwood. He's played well, he's come in and just, as you say, a rocky stage.
Archer just needs to get it a little bit. I mean, he's riding the bounce relatively well at the moment. It's the ones which you rear up and take the shoulder of the bat. To try and find that length again.
Yeah, the enthusiasm of this pitch has just sort of been sucked out in. I mean, it has been hot again today, but you would have thought that would have helped.
Can someone just rounds that pitch a little bit?
Yeah.
Archer in again. The bounce once more, just back of a length enough to have Blackwood on his toes. Again, riding it, defending it, keeping it down to short leg. But it was when he had Roston Chase caught behind. That was the delivery sort of after, isn't he? We had him right up on his toes to
the brutal delivery.
Shoulder of the bat, flew to Buttler and was a straightforward catch for him, just to wait for the ball to land in his gloves, almost with a gentle plop. Archer in. Past the umpire, Bowles now goes fuller that time, and Blackwood comes forward, defends back up the pitch very solidly, very stoutly, if to say, I will not be moved. I want to be here to see the West Indies to a famous victory. And it would. I was reminding listeners earlier that, of course, the Headingley win in 2017, but in 20 years, that's the only Test victory that the West Indies have had against England in England.
Yeah.
So, huge significance attached to this for the West Indies. Archer in again, riding the bounce out to the offside this time, angling it out towards backward point. It's picked up, there's no run. Stokes doing the fielding. So the score remains 147 for 4, with 53 more needed to win. Andy, evening to you.
That's the first maiden since the 17th over. That was the 48th. So 31 overs in a row, 30 overs in a row. They'd scored at least one run from, just 4 in 3 overs since tea.
Let's see if that plays on his mind, or whether he's able to switch out of that and just say, OK, yeah, let that one go, new over, keep going. Dowrich is on 18. He's going to be on strike. He's just sort of hung in there, really, Dowrich. I haven't really seen him.
Yeah, he's played well. Yeah. He's played well. I think England will be disappointed that they haven't particularly got any sideways movement. I thought that might come in. It's almost as if they've been just sort of waiting for that delivery to rear up, from that in different bounce. And they say the one to Chase did, but then sometimes, they just haven't been able to get sideways movement.
Here's Wood to Dowrich now, down the leg side, to follow it, gone through to the Buttler.
Too straight. That's been a big mistake by England. OK, you've got to go hunting for the poles and, bowl at the stumps and what have you, but you can't afford to be two leg side nowadays. These batsmen now just put them away, and as I say, that makes that the lack of maidens, that shows it. Lack of maidens. They've always managed just to be ticking over the scoreboard, 2s and 3s and over, instead of being able to sort of dot them up and really create pressure.
Wood goes running in, and a gorgeous evening sunshine.
There you go.
There's a single out to the offside, just front of square, chased back, and the score ticks around 52 more needed at 148 for 4. The Brathwaite went early for 4 on inside edge, pad and then stumps. That was Archer's first wicket in just the 6th over of this West Indies innings. Shamarh Brooks LBW to Archer without scoring. It was 7 for 2 at that stage. Then Wood got in on the action. He bowled Shai for just 9, 27 for 3, and the West Indies were reeling. That's when things were steadied, and Blackwood came out. And we thought it'd be the darter, and that the dasher might really take the most risk, but it's played brilliantly. And here's Wooden again. Dowrich defends into the onside. Blackwood rather defends into the onside. No run.
Yeah, and that's the trouble for the spin bowler as well. When you've only got 200 to play with, you know, you've got to come on. And you can't sort of build your spell as a spin bowler. You've got to be able to sort of have a couple of, you know, perhaps 4s and then sort of keep them under pressure. And England haven't managed to get pressure, especially during that second session, from both ends. You know, there wasn't a spell of 2, 3, 4 overs that were maidens, and that's when the spinner then comes into it, because you have to take a risk against him, and perhaps, you know, he can entice a full shot. But at the moment, the spinner's not really coming into the equation with 52 needed.
Wood in again. That's struck on the pad. Was there some inside edge there? The umpire is unmoved. Wood has hands on hips.
Just didn't look right. A little bit high, perhaps. Perhaps just brushing the leg. So he's decided to have a go for it.
With 5 seconds to go on the timer.
Yeah, just desperate times for England. They're having a gamble here.
Well, it's Blackwood, isn't it? He's the man.
LBW. On-field decision is not out. Front foot first, please.
Could be an umpire's call.
Still got 3 reviews up their sleeve,
Yeah,
remember.
might not burn one.
That's a fair delivery. Front on spin vision, please.
Just didn't feel right for some reason. I don't know why. But we shall see. It's going to be crucial. If you get rid of Blackwood here, England right back in it.
Cut back.
It's out the screen there, Mark.
High.
Anything else? Front on?
It's not a great shot, is it, for the third umpire? The ball disappears. That's better.
Too high.
Okay. Ultra edge one available, please. Nothing
I'm sure there was an inside edge in that. We'll find out, though.
Rolling through, all the way, flat line, all the way through.
No edge.
Okay, no bat involved. Ball tracking when available, please.
High. I think it's just clipping.
Ball tracking coming up now. Impact is in line, and it's missing the wickets. Richard, stay with your original decision of not out.
A bit high and a
Let
bit
you know
wide.
when you're on screen. You're on screen now, Richard.
Good decision by Richard Kettleborough.
Well, that's 1 review gone, 2 left for England.
Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't kind of look right, as you say. Just jagged back a little bit. Got himself in a good position then. If it was going to thump into the pad, it was always going to be going down.
Well, Blackwood is not putting too many feet wrong at the moment, is he?
He's played really well. Played really well. Very responsible, mature innings. He's got himself in. No real rash shots, was there? No real risks taken. A few flashy cuts, sort of an uppercuts, but that's his shot. You know, that's his onion, as we say.
Can he keep in this mindset, though? The closer the target comes, though. You know, when the line gets closer and you feel like we're close to getting over the edge, it should relieve pressure, but maybe it would make you want to get there quicker. But still a way to go. Could still turn quickly. Now it's uppishly off the thick outside edge, but safe down to the backward point boundary. And throw comes in at 149 for 4. 51 more needed to win. It's on to 67 now. Blackwood rehearsing the stroke. Nervy times. Very nervy times. Again, 2 wickets. Imagine it one being 150 for 6.
2 wickets.
Roach.
England back to favourites.
Very much. 2 balls. It could all change again.
Yeah.
You sense this is a match that could yet have another twist.
Yeah, England will be ruining them chances.
Cirrus clouds above the Rose Bowl. 2 slips and Wood in. A bouncer ridden well by Dowrich. Defending into the offside to end the over. 149 for 4 then. And 51 more needed to win. And Dowrich played a very handy innings in the first innings, didn't he?
Yeah.
61. Stokes got his wicket. And Stokes 4 for 49 in the first innings. It's got to be his toe. There's got to be something that we're not seeing him have a go.
I would have thought so, because usually he's the kind of fellow who sticks his hand up and says, I'll get it done. So there must be something, perhaps. You know, 4 overs is nothing.
He's not moving gingerly in the field in terms of walking pace, but yeah, it's that bowling, isn't it? When that front foot is slammed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be a big factor in this match.
I think Archer's just got to change tactic here a little bit. Try and draw him forward a bit. Blackwood has played that short ball so well. He's got to try and get him driving.
Archer then continuing here, and that does draw him forward, but sort of in a little bit of two minds, wasn't he? Almost expecting the short ball, you're right, but he's defended it into the offside. And the full ball almost becomes the surprise ball for Archer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there might be a little slight change of tactic. Just because of the way Blackwood's played it. You know, he's just got himself in great positions, hasn't taken on the hook or pull. Might just have to try something else here.
149 for 4. West Indies are 51 away from victory. England needs 6 more wickets. Archer's in defence again on the off stump. He draws him forward and he plays it pretty solidly. Here's a little piece of trivia for you, Tuffers.
Yeah.
What does Jermaine Blackwood have in common with Marnus Labuschagne?
Is it something to do with Japan?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
They've both.
Why Japan?
I didn't even want to question that, Andy.
You went in so quickly.
Archer in again, a little bit of width, and he's played that for 4, out through the offside. Just an extension of the arm. Valuable runs. The West Indies need less than 50 now. 47 to win. A punch of the gloves between Blackwood and Dowrich takes West Indies past 150 as well. There's a 50 partnership. All the landmarks coming at once.
Yeah.
So no, it's not Japan.
Oh, right, because no, isn't it Marcus Labuschagne's brother captains Japan Rugby Club?
Oh, that's another good bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was not the answer I was looking for.
So I had one out of the 2 earmarked for Japan.
They've both been concussion subs. The Labuschagne, you remember, was Steve Smith's concussion sub, and the very first in international cricket. Blackwood on 71, bouncer from Archer, and he simply crouches, gets down low, and lets it go through. And he was a concussion sub for Darren Bravo against India in Jamaica last September. Okay. They've both been concussion subs. There you go. And that test actually was his first in nearly 2 years.
Yeah. Well, he's getting close to becoming man of the match for me.
Well, he's got 100 in his sights as well, hasn't he? And if he plays the winning innings, then it's the match-winning hand, isn't it?
Exactly.
Getting them home.
Exactly.
A slip in a short leg. Archer going full, and it's an inside edge. He wasn't sure where it's gone. It's squirted away square behind him. He set off for a single, left for Pope to do the chasing.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't know where that had gone.
Yeah, and this mixing up his length from Archer instead of just keep bowling short of him, just seems to have put him in 2 minds. That one just nipped back and just managed to jam a bat down its thick inside edge. Hands on head for Archer.
46 needed.
But he probably got another 2 or 3 overs of Archer. West Indies, that's what they'll be thinking. See him off.
He's in now. Riding the bounce down the leg side, pulled the arms away at the last moment, did Dowrich to end the over. So Archer operating, getting the high 85 plus to 90 zone. He's taken 3 for 42. It's 154 for 4. Blackwood 72 not out. Dowrich on 19. I'm not sure that Blackwood, I was asking Carlos, he's sort of, he scored hundreds, obviously, 100 against England as well, but a sort of match-defining innings like this against England is going to mean an awful, awful lot to him. Considering his, also that reputation of being the dasher and being the flamboyant.
He's tried to put that to bed, though. I was talking to Carlos, I think, at day 2 or 3, and he said, well, you know, he's made a conscious effort that he wants to play the long game. And so he's changed his batting style and mentality, and it's been proven here. We can really see that here.
Yeah, it's really paying off, isn't it?
He had a big double century in the West Indian domestic tournament early this year.
Yeah, that's right. And so he's obviously set out to come over here and not just be known as this bloke and get you a flashy 30 or 40, but change the game.
Wood, new over, covering up is Blackwood, solid, and Wood picks up in his follow-through, hurls the ball back in the direction of the stumps, and Blackwood gets back behind the line, saying that no danger for me there, thank you. West Indies support staff and players out on the sort of balconies. There's a little concourse just at the top tier of steps of the pavilion, where all the exercise bikes are.
Yes, that's right.
Static exercise bikes, to see them pedalling away, watching the action. Some cyclists earlier today cycling the golf buggy cart, the golf buggy path around the golf course as well. Plenty of space around this ground. It's not a bad ground to be locked down at, actually.
Beautiful.
When you consider the views, the green all around. Tall pine trees around the back of the golf course.
Very airy.
Wood, the end of his mark. In he goes now. Blackwood in his sights. Over the wicket he goes. It's the low full toss, and it's flayed over extra cover. Racing to the boundary. There'll be no stopping that for Jimmy Anderson. That has flown, and Blackwood on to 76. West Indies getting closer again, 158 for 4.
Yeah, gone for the reverse swing, in swinger there, Mark Wood, but pounced upon by Blackwood and got a really good middle of the bat on it. Just a bit of too full by Wood. Everything going West Indies' way. This is now very, very dangerous times. If England don't get another wicket within the next 20 minutes, I think the game might be up.
Well, England operating a bowler down if Stokes isn't going to have a bowl the rest of this innings, the rest of the match, which doesn't feel like he is. The West Indies are a batsman down potentially, but they might not even need him as Wood bowls a bounce. Now that is a nasty one, and that just has Blackwood fending. It really cut up at him. Wandering away now towards square leg. And just the odd one like that can start to play with the batsman and might make him a little bit edgy. He's away leaning on his bat handle now, several yards away from the stumps. That'll be his way of calming himself. Possibly a little bit of self-talk going on as well. Reset.
The West Indies still got 6 more wickets to go, so England, in effect, have got to get 6 for 42.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, lower order wickets can fall quickly, but they've still got Holder yet to come. Wood again bowling full, looking for that Yorker as well bowled. He got his bat down onto it, but an inside edge again, which goes past the stumps. He did execute the Yorker that time. 81 miles per hour. Now he's bowled a cutter, pulling the fingers over the side of the ball. Was well bowled, but also well read by the batsman. Well, they jammed the bat down on it, smothered the ball, then it bounced and bounced over the stumps. Blackwood 76. And the West Indies 158 for 4. Wood. And again, what will he do this time? Will he go full? Will he go short? It's a deep square leg out. It's going forward. It's more flayed over extra cover over the hands of Jimmy Anderson. It's mid-off and it's 4 more. Mark Wood cannot believe it. He is on his back on the edge of the pitch. He has just been flayed by Blackwood. What a fantastic stroke that is to take him on to 80. And the West Indies 162 for 4. Carlos, what a shot.
As it was coming in, I heard dun, 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 dun. But yeah, stay humble, boys. Finish the job.
Isn't a T20?
Now, Blackwood has earned the right to be as expansive and as expressive as he is now. He's laid the foundation and he's just reaping the rewards. A little bit more miles in the legs of the pacers. He's seeing it as big as a breadfruit at the moment, and he's capitalising on a fantastic start. Highest score in the game, isn't it, Andy?
Yep.
Yeah, it's overtaking Crawley's 76.
And the target, this is running away from England quickly now. He's tried to hammer that back along the ground past the bowl, and Woods managed to stop it in his follow-through. But the West Indies now need only 38 more to win. 38 runs, plays 6 wickets with Blackwood 80 not out and Dowrich on 19. Carlos, he's a smiling man sitting down next to me at the moment, although he did just, give me a look which said, there might yet be a twist. But yeah, Simon Mann's coming in. I'll leave you to it.
This game has always thrown up a twist. No team has ever got this far in front. 38 to win with 6 wickets in hand. Could be 5 if John Campbell can't add much with his 1 foot. But it's time to knuckle down. Dowrich will be important to ensuring that Blackwood keeps his head on, stays grounded and get us past the line. At Edgbaston he got up with 2 runs to go. We wouldn't want to repeat that.
Well, West Indies 27 for 3, they're now 162 for 4. Archer moves in and bowls to Dowrich, who runs it away down towards third man and takes a single. And West Indies are closing in 163 for 4. They need a further 37 more runs to win this test match. Actually, I mean, it would be an upset of sorts in that England, in home conditions, would have started this game as favourites. In fact, they did start this game as favourites, but this would be, if West Indies go on to win, their 4th win in 6 Test matches against England. Let's not forget that. They've beaten them 3 times in the previous 5 games. 163 for 4. Blackwood on 80. Archer moves in and bosses a short ball, and Blackwood is bending down, getting right underneath that again. We've seen a bit of that in this innings from Blackwood. He marches off towards square leg to compose himself. There was a really testing over the Archer bowl to Blackwood in the afternoon session. It felt as something was about to give, but Blackwood managed to survive, and he's thrived since.
He has a big heart, Blackwood. Very short man, just a little taller than the stump, so it's very difficult for him to play the rising ball. But he wouldn't be shying away from the challenge, I'm sure. I saw Russell post a story. I know he's been doing a lot of work with Andre Russell, and Russell must be very proud of this knock.
Well, he's played superbly. He's 80 not out. Match-winning innings, potentially. Man of the match innings as well, on a pitch which, largely speaking, helped the bowlers. 4th innings, 80 not out. Some effort. Here goes Archer. Bowls to him, and he plays a sort of flick uppercut there to a short ball outside the off stomach. Goes along the ground down to Denley. It was an unusual stroke. Gets him his 81st run and takes West Indies to 164 for 4. When I did what's going to be the winning margin at the start of the day on Twitter, not many people said 6 wickets. There were quite a few, 3 wickets, 4 wickets, 20 runs, 15 runs, that sort of thing. But not many said 6 wickets. So mind you, there's still a bit to go yet. Yeah, this game. Here's Dowrich on 20. Archer goes in and bowls, and there's a flinching stroke, and for a moment I thought they were going to go up for the catch down the leg side, but he got inside the line. He didn't play it convincingly, Dowrich, but nothing off the bat or the glove down the leg side, taken by Buttler. And England have had their opportunities today. They'll look back on big moments in this game. There was an incident when Blackwood was on 5 and he cut at a ball from Bess, and Stokes was going one way and it went the other. He tried to anticipate it and slip, and that one went away. That would have been a very sharp catch if he'd taken it. Archer bowls, that's a nasty one, and he takes his eye off it there, and it hits him and goes down fine towards backward square leg, and might well have taken him on the helmet. Difficult to tell from here. He played it horribly. What did this come off? Took his eye off it. He's off the glove, is it?
Off the bat, it looks like.
It's a strange one, because he wasn't even looking at it, and if it did come off the bat, he did incredibly well to somehow control it. It was a remarkable incident. He ended up on his backside after leaping in the air, 2 foot off the ground. It's almost like a star jump.
This is something he's been working on, trying to front up the fast bowling a little better. He needs all that practice now.
Archer bowls to him down the leg side, appeal for a catch. Archer's convinced, umpire less so. If England are that convinced, surely they're going to review it, and they do. They have 2 reviews left. It was down the leg side. It was given not out, but England have reviewed it.
We have a player review for caught behind. On-field decision is not out. Can we start with the front foot first, please?
Stokes reviewed it straight away.
Dowrich looks confident.
That's a fair delivery. Front on spin vision, please.
Right, what is this going to show us?
Okay, ultra edge when available, please, Mark.
It's going to be after ultra edge or nothing, really. What have we got, ultra edge?
Yeah, keep going through, rolling all the way through. Back line.
Nothing now.
Back line, yeah, keep going all the way through. Yeah. The spike is from the ball hitting the hip of the batsman, so no bat involved. Ready to go back on field to Richard. Richard, stay with the on-field decision. You're on screen now.
Umpire Illingworth gave it not out, and it was not out. It flicked something on the way through the pocket or the shirt. So there was a noise. England desperately hoping something was going to go their way, and it did not. There was no bat there. Again, he played that short ball with both feet off the ground, leaping in the air.
He's not the most comfortable with the ball at his body at pace. I mean, no one likes fast bowling at the body when it could threaten your livelihood, but he needs to play a little better, at least for another 36 runs, and then he can sort it out for the second test.
If England do lose this game, it'll be the second time in 3 summers that they've lost the opening test of the summer, which is something that had not happened between 1996 and 2017 inclusive. So they have tended to start home summers well. But this would be the second year out of 3 in which they've lost the opening test.
They've lost the opening test of a lot of series recently as well, not just the opening test of a summer. Here is Stokes moving in, bowls full outside the off stump, and it's driven away by Blackwood through the covers for at least 2 runs. Boundary rider running round, they'll come back for 3. Huge boundaries here. Almost can take 1 for the throw. Denley sends in the return, and Blackwood goes to 84.
Yeah, that was for specifically the first test of the summer, so a lot of those have been split into 2 series. England have lost the first test in 7 of their last 9 series, not including the one-off game with Ireland, which I think mathematically counts as a series of 1, but 7 of 9, other than that, they've lost the first test recently.
They lost the first test in South Africa, of course, and came back to win. Lost the first test in New Zealand. They were hammered in Mount Maunganui by an innings. Lost the first test to Australia at Edgbaston. 167 for 4. Here is Dowrich on strike. Stokes bowls. He tries to swing him away, Dowrich, and it hits the toe end of the bat and runs into the offside. Down into the gully. Stokes stands in the middle of the pitch with his hands on his hips, wondering how on earth he managed that. He was looking for the deep mid-wicket boundary. Now, we've seen in this game it's not easy playing the pull shot. It's hard to judge the bounce, get it absolutely right.
That shot is why, as a little medium pacer, I love to bowl when a nice fiery fast ball is at the other end. He obviously won't pay that to Jofra, so he's trying his best to get as much as he could from the other end.
Stokes, he hasn't bowled a lot today, goes in. That ball's very full outside the off stump, almost Yorker length, but wide of off stump. And Dowrich tried to guide it away and missed it. And it went through to Buttler. 100 for 4 when Roston Chase was out. The game was in the balance, but Dowrich has done an excellent job for his side as well. He's gritted it out. It's not been easy for him. Tough against Archer at times. Playing a valuable innings. They've added 67 from 27 for 3. It looked a long shot for West Indies. I think even Carlos lost a bit of belief there, especially with Campbell off the field injured as well. They fought really hard. Stokes bowls, that flashes by outside the edge of Dowrich's bat.
And I don't want to give them the commentator's curse, but if West Indies were to go on and win the test, obviously people would talk about Shannon's 9 and Jace's 6, Blackwood's, how much ever he goes on to get in the end. But I think for me, the things that West Indies aren't accustomed to being highly acclaimed for, running between the wickets, sprinting between the overs, staying in a game when they seemingly lost control, they've done all of that, and it's contributed to putting them in a good position in this test.
Here is Stokes bowling full outside the off-stump edge and caught by Sibley at first slip. Dowrich has gone. Stokes back into the attack, and he's taken a wicket in his first over. It was full outside the off-stump edge. Now hold on a second, they're just checking the no ball. This really would rub it in for England if this is a no ball. They've had opportunities today, England, but they've frittered them away. Now, is this a no ball? Let's have a look. We're just seeing the front foot land now. They're checking it. The foot is coming down. Is there going to be any behind the line? I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything behind the line. I think this is going to be a no ball.
Definite no.
And it's signalled as a no ball. It's a definite no ball. Now, there we go.
You just thought the game would throw up a wicket. Stokes not keeping his foot behind. He'd be very disappointed.
Yeah, it was fractionally over. We saw some no balls earlier. It was Gabriel this morning. He was well over and it wasn't called.
Yeah.
And Blackwood was dropped by Burns in the gully off what would have been called back as a no ball by Stokes. Makes you think, are they not telling the players in the dressing room where these are happening?
Well, Stokes overstepped on that one, and he overstepped on the one earlier. Burns didn't even put a hand on it in the gully. It looked relatively catchable, especially coming out the seats as well. No spectators to blur the vision. Here's Stokes bowling, and that's edge, and that one's caught as well by Buttler. Now, is this a no ball as well? We'll wait and see, but Stokes has got him. Dowrich is walking off, and umpire Kettleborough is not asking the batsman to wait this time. He seems pretty confident that's not a no ball. So Stokes has got his wicket. Dowrich has gone for 20. It's 168 for 5. And Stokes banging it in. It bounced a bit, and he found the outside edge of Dowrich's bat, and Buttler away to his right took the catch. So West Indies 5 down, and they need 32 to win. And Jason Holder, I can see him coming down the steps at the far end, and I suppose there would be something appropriate if Holder were to see it through to the end and knock off the winning runs. West Indies captain.
Q, Stokes versus Holder.
Yeah.
Round 4. So far, they've gotten each other out on 3 previous occasions in the game. If West Indies lose another wicket now, back down to the wire again. No one's in front. Balance of power. Neutral. Important 5 overs, I'd say, just to get the England momentum a bit flatter. And within 5 overs, I think Blackwood will get close to 15 runs, eat away into the deficit, and make it a stroll home as opposed to a panic.
Yeah. Well, England need to go bang bang, really. They need to follow one up with another one straight away to keep themselves in the game. You've got Holder out there, who's a reassuring presence, really, for West Indies, coming in at number 8. And that double 100 in the last series.
Quality and stature. Very tall and imposing.
But Holder dismissed Stokes twice. Stokes has already dismissed Holder once. Can he complete the quartet of dismissals? Then Stokes here. 2 slips and a gully in. Not easy starting on this pitch. Here goes Stokes now to bowl to Holder. His first ball. He's up the stumps now. He bowls and he goes past the outside edge of Holder's bat. First up. Holder survives. Stokes gets his wicket ultimately. One off a no ball, and then following it up next ball, finding the edge again. So 168 for 5. 32 runs to win for West Indies. And Blackwood, well, he's got a chance here of 100 and winning the game. He's got 100 already in Test cricket against England in that last series in the Caribbean, and he's played ever so well. Okay, he has had a bit of good fortune today. I've mentioned the Stokes one at slip, but there's also one down the leg side, Buttler. You feel that one really should have been taken by Buttler away to his left. It was actually given as a leg by, wasn't it? But it came off his glove.
Would Jofra get an assist for the Dowrich wicket? Because he definitely softened him up, and Stokes reaped the rewards. You saw a pull shot out of nowhere, then a chance, and then ultimately the wicket. Yeah,
we're bowling in partnerships, I suppose. Archer is going to continue. He's into bowl to Blackwood, and Blackwood plays away from his body there, pushing into the offside, goes straight to Burns at cover. Call of weight. There's no run. Archer into his 17th over. He's bowled the most overs of any England bowler today. We haven't seen Dom Bess for a while. England hoping that it might be a Bess pitch on the final day, but perhaps not enough runs to play with ultimately. There was a threat from Bess. He had 2 very good LBW shouts that the umpires called on both occasions. Archer moves in now. Bowls to Blackwood, and Blackwood gets a ball that keeps low, but he fidgets it into the leg side, turns around and gets the bat down in time. Stopped by Pope, away to his left. Good piece of fielding at short leg from Pope. It's looking the field for Archer. I mean, it's a strange one, really. They want to bowl at Holder. They don't want Blackwood to do much damage. There's a deepish mid off, a deepish mid on, deep back with square leg, fine leg, and third man. So there are 5 out and 4 in. Slip, short leg, 271 on the offside. Archer goes in, bowls to Blackwood short, and he goes for the uppercut. It goes second bounce down to Denley at third man. And 1 more run to Blackwood. Moves him to 85. And West Indies to 169 for 5. 31 runs away from victory on this final day. After tea on the final day, coming up to 5 o'clock. No problem with the overs, still 34 and a half overs available to us. Holder comes down the pitch to do some gardening. Stokes is having a chat with Burns in the covers, and now he's strolling to his fielding position. The field is, well, it's come up a bit. There's still a deep back with square leg. Holder, of course, was caught on the boundary in the first innings by Archer. Very good catch of Stokes. 2 slips, short leg. 371 on the off, 1 on the on, 2 back. Archer bowls to Holder, straight delivery. Holder's equal to it, pushing it back down the pitch. Archer picks up and there's no run. Archer certainly played his part today. He's bowled a lot and he's bowled superbly. He's really threatened this West Indies batting lineup. Picked up 3 wickets.
Yeah, he's been picked to ball fast. His running has been fiery, and even when it wasn't much assistance.
Here he goes. Bowls to Holder outside the off stump. Holder lets it go.
When it felt as though the game was going a bit flat, he went at Blackwood. He got chased out with a lifting delivery, softened up Dowrich. So he's practically had a hand in every dismissal. Probably bar Shea Hope so far.
Dowrich out for 21, Andy? Or 20?
20 from 37 balls. The partnership was 68 from 17.1 overs. Dowrich 81 runs in the match. He only had 24 in 6 innings in the last West Indies tour here.
Archer bowls to Holder outside the off stump. Holder holds the line really of his off stump, allows it to go sailing by through to Buttler. That's the end of Archer's over. Right, West Indies need 31 to win. They have 5 wickets left. Blackwood's 85. More from Carlos Brathwaite, and then it will be Jonathan Agnew.
5 very big overs here. Stokes looking to get his opposite number out for the second time. Andy, how much times would that have happened in cricket, really? Opposing captains got each other out in all the innings.
Never.
Is that right?
Only 3 times that they'd got each other out in the first innings of a test match, and never in both innings.
Never in both innings. Well, it's on, isn't it?
It's on.
It is on.
Cusp of history.
How exciting. That is a quivering statistician. You might not have seen one before, Carlos, but that is a statistician on the brink of something remarkable. It's never happened before. We'll see. 31 more to win. Holder doesn't want it to happen. He's up at the non-strikers end. Blackwood's on 85. And off goes Stokes and bowls a bounce, so Blackwood's underneath it, and then back pedals as he gets out of the way. And how typical it is that Stokes has come back and taken that wicket.
Yeah, I always felt once he picked the ball up, something would happen. The egos would be awakened, him and Blackwood, and there'll be some words said, and Blackwood's blood would be pumping, and Stokes would be running in with all his passion, and something happened. Eventful first over by Stokes, and he's continued now, and Blackwood and Jason Holder need to get us at least 20-25 runs to make it a stroll.
Still 31 to win. Stokes moves in, bowls to Blackwood. Will pick up an easy single there. They've left it deliberately open by the look of it, just to get Holder down on strike. His cover was back, so Blackwood has pushed that away. So Holder's not had much of a tour so far, batting wise. He's had a couple of practice games and so on, but he's not in obviously top form, put it that way. He's towering over Blackwood. I mean, that's like the old days of Clive Lloyd and Harry Pilling. It really is. Famous photographs you used to get back in those 1970s Lancashire days. 170 for 5, 30 to win. The West Indies captain on strike, and he's facing England's captain Ben Stokes with 3 slips now. Third one quite wide. No third man. And Holder is over his bat. Stokes, long strides, goes galloping up. He's there and he bowls, and that's pushed away by Holder slightly across the line. You can hear the howl from Stokes there. He's still holding his head in his hands. Can't believe that Holder managed to get that away. He thought it was through him, I think. 170 for 5. Holder strolls around. Blackwood got so close to seeing West Indies over the line at Headingley 4 years ago. He might want to mess it up again this time. He's played so well and out of character. Maybe it's his new character, who knows? Maybe he's demonstrating something. Sun's with us again, and Stokes moves in, bowls, and Holder very neatly and determinedly forward. Sends the ball out to cover, and there's no run.
Yeah, I think after the shot in the first innings, I would have loved to be in the dressing room. Spoke to Jace about it, and he said, well, it's Blackwood, you have to give him the freedom. And I think him knowing that he had the supported dressing room is up to him then to do what he needs to do. And he played eloquently in regard to the match situation today, and he's deserved the right to be able to play the shots he's been playing since.
He's leaning on his bat at the moment because Stokes runs past him. He's there and he bowls to Holder. He's on the back foot, steering that down to a deep gully. And once again, no run. 30 to win. West Indies at the moment in no rush, but you know that Blackwood, if you get within hitting range, of finishing it off quickly, well, he could certainly do it. And now the point fieldsman goes back. In fact, they're all going back. It's a tactic, this. They're saying to Holder, you can take a single. There's only 30 needed.
Only the number one all-round in the world, averaging 40 odd in the last couple of years, but they prefer him on strike.
It's a big call, isn't it? So those square legs gone back, deep point, and Stokes was just waving there to the others just to give themselves a room. And yeah, it's not as though he's a rabbit or something. Stokes on his way. Bowls and Holder pushed into the onside. Oh, they're going for a quick single. And the throw misses. It's a wild one down there. Maybe the fielder couldn't see the stumps because Blackwood was running through. But they took the chance of the single. And it was Mark Wood who threw. In the end, it was very wild, but I suspect it was because Blackwood was running between him and the stumps. And so he just couldn't throw it straight. But there was confusion there for a moment. I think Blackwood wanted the strike. And was a bit surprised that Holder was stealing that single.
Yeah, I think they're trying to break Blackwood's rhythm and they're giving him an easy single, face one ball and then keep him off of strike, hoping he plays an injudicious shot when he gets back on, thinking he's in the same rhythm. But it's funny, Jason Holder has to steal the strike.
Yes, yes, he did. He had to persuade him to go. Blackwood didn't want to go. And looking at the throw again, it was definitely the case that he was blocking the line. Now this is a big bowling change up at the far end. Normally you'd say, right, Anderson's back, all's good with the world, but he bowled poor 3 overs before tea down at this end.
Yeah, it wasn't his best spell ever.
No. But you turn to the main man again. Archer's bowled out for now. Again, terrific spell. Pace. But you can't bowl all day. So Anderson's coming back.
12 wickets by captains in this match. It's the third most ever in a test in England. The only matches in which captains between them took more wickets were 2 games in the 1982 series between England and Pakistan, when the 2 captains were Bob Willis and Imran Khan, and they had 14 wickets between them at Leeds and 13 at Birmingham. So 12 between Stokes and Holder in this game is third on that list. That's matches in England.
Now, what are they going to do? They obviously want to keep Holder on strike. So deep square leg comes up. And Stokes very clearly in charge as captain. He's doing a lot of walking up and down and talking to his bowlers and so on. He's now strolling slowly into the slip area. Where's he going to go? Looks like he's going to sort of third slip. No, second and a half, maybe. Anderson then from the far end bowls, and Holder turns the first one to the leg side again. Blackwood slow setting off, then to throw. Well, I think it probably just missed the stumps and Buttler knocked him off as he ran past, but Blackwood was in. Blackwood's body language is saying, what's going... He's now look at it. That's a little pout he's having there. He's saying, what's going on, skipper? You trying to run me out or something?
He would have been gone as well.
Well, he was back on his heels, to be fair. I think the run was on. They completed it.
Bit of nerves creeping in.
Yeah.
Credit to Stokes though. Watching back the 2016 World Cup and the last over, one of the things that some friends would have shared with me and they eventually agreed with is he just bowled ball after ball after ball. Now you can see it's a concerted effort to really stretch each delivery and really allow the occasion to get to batsman as best as they could. He's walking up, he's walking down, he's going left, he's going right, and really forcing the batsman to think about it.
Field set deep for Blackwood. Anderson moves in, bowls to him, and he just pushes that away for a single. I'm not sure about this. 27 to win. They are giving Blackwood a run.
Yeah, I mean, what is the team plan? How will Anderson get a wicket? He probably fancies Jace, but then the field isn't that attacking either. It's kind of an umbrella field, a holding job type thing.
It's always strange running into bowl to a batsman when the field is set back, because you kind of know you're not going to get him out.
Yeah, unless he plays a real bad shot, which I don't see Blackwood playing at the moment.
Anderson with 2 slips now moves in, bowls to Holder, a little bounce there, Holder's in behind it. Blackwood shouted no there.
Early.
As that was pushed to mid-wicket. He said not having that one.
Not this time around, skipper.
No. But you just knock off the singles, and before you know it, you look up and crikey, it's only 18 needed or something. It's a dangerous. It might work, but it's a dangerous ploy.
The last thing you want as England would be to look up and realise they're a couple hits away, still with 4 or 5 wickets in hand. You want to keep them tied down as long as possible and then look for opening.
In comes Anderson, and he bowls, and again Holder gets nicely behind this. The ball runs away down to backward point. There'll be some nervous bowlers in that West Indian dressing room.
If it gets down to Shannon, Gabriel.
Well, yeah. But they'll be thinking about it. That's 5 down, number 7 in, 8, 9 padded up, 10 thinking about it. It was my sort of mind thinking.
If you get it to Alzarri, Joseph, you never know what can happen. He can knock the runs off himself, or he can get out trying to. Roach will hang around for as best as he could. But if it gets down to Shannon, then
it's probably game over.
Yeah,
173 for 5. Anderson's on his way, bowls to Holder. That comes cutting back, strikes him up on the leg. No appeal from anybody. And now, how many balls to go? There was 1 to go, and Stokes again is putting the men out. So out goes Denley, and out goes Crawley on either side. And again, if Holder wants a single, well, he can have it almost where he wants. There's still a cover fieldsman in the mid wicket, but the instruction seems to be, well, you can pick it up if you want. Here's Anderson, bowls, and Holder comes forward and plays it straight to mid off. So there is no run there. Archer fields, and that means that Blackwood will be on strike for the start of Stokes' next over. 173 for 5. And there is no need to rush, because the West Indians, they know that Archer's, well, he's bowled out for now. Mark Wood had a spell straight after tea. Stokes, we know, can bowl long spells, so he'll probably be able to keep going from here. But there's going to have to, I think, this players they are.
The only thing is when the field is changing, as much as a cricketer you wouldn't want it to have an impact on your psyche, you then start thinking, with point back, can they just open with the face of the bat and dribble it away for a single, as opposed to full face and be a dot, and then that provides the chance, a slight nick to the keeper, and an end is open. So we have to see if it works. I don't agree with the offside field being back to Blackwood.
It's extraordinary, really, in that, again, there's a single wherever he wants it in the offside. Mid-wicket is still in, I suppose, in a sort of a catching position, you'd call him there at mid-wicket. Oh, now cover's coming in again.
Makes sense. You want that if he plays forward or defends and it drops into cover, he's still on strike.
Yeah. Mid-off is deep. Stokes on his way, moves in, bowls to Blackwood, who turns that into the leg side. He's only going to get 1. The fielder comes off that deep square leg boundary, but it is 1 all the same, and it means that West Indies need 26 more.
Good number, 26.
You like that, do you?
My shirt number.
Well,
hopefully it's lucky.
It might be. Those lucky trousers, they might have to come out quite regularly this summer, Carlos.
Get them in the wash first thing.
Yeah, I think you might have to. Or if you lose, you're going to have to burn them or something. It's a waste of a nice set of trousers, actually. 174 for 5. Holder on strike. Slips are in place. Then goes Stokes and bowls short, swung away. How well has he hit that? Archer hasn't seen it, and the answer is well enough. And it's gone into the deep square leg boundary. And Stokes dropped short. Holder took it on. And 4 runs it is. 22. They went on your 26 for very long.
That's good. That's very good, Agus.
Well, but it's getting pretty serious for England now, obviously.
It is a shot, obviously. He got out with it in the first innings, but as I said then, I'll say no, if you go short at Jason, he picks up his length quickly. He normally latches onto it nicely as he did there. So if he goes short again, Jace, dispatch it again.
No one deep for that pull shot. Stokes runs in, bowls short of a length and steered into the offside. You heard wait, no there as the batsman don't take the run. Denley's the fielder. 22 to win. And that after the West Indies are in, well, looked to be in disarray at the start of this innings, with Archer taking 2 wickets and Campbell retiring hurt with his injured toe.
I would really love Blackwood to get 100. Everyone thought he'd just come crash bang wallop, but he's been so mature throughout the innings.
Here's Stokes, bowls to Holder, neatly forward. head right over the ball, fielded in the covers. Well, he's been excellent so far, Blackwood. We know there's potentially a rush of blood around the corner, but so far he's reined it in, hasn't he?
If Bess gets the ball, something will happen.
143 balls and 11 boundaries in his 88 so far. Stokes bowls and Holder comes forward again, plays slightly across that pad, and Stokes has his arms raised there optimistically, but it was hit crisply enough, and Wood's the fielder.
Talking about Blackwood and Russell. Russell has a hotel for a house, towers over Kingston.
Oh, does it?
And his gym in his house is placed similar to how this was looking out onto the field. His gym is looking out onto Kingston.
Beautiful.
And during the lockdown, Blackwood was there. He had plenty of videos of him running up the hill and in the gym pumping weights with Russell. And
really?
It's times like this is where you do all that hard work for, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. Stokes bowls outside the off stump. Holder watches it go through and is taken by Joss Buttler. And, well, they're going to have a drink by the look of it, which is, again, an opportunity for England just to really focus on what they're going to have to do here. But it's looking pretty critical now. 22 needed, thanks to Carlos. And the players trooping off. I don't suppose, well, they won't think for a minute that their number is up as far as England are concerned, but, wow, the options are pretty limited because Archer's bowled out and put that good spell in after tea. Bess is not really an option now, but Blackwood might just get after him. So Stokes and Anderson, it would seem to be, through to the moment of truth. Alistair Cook's here. Interesting tactic about giving Blackwood the single all the time, do you think?
You can understand it, can't you? You can understand the thought process. Holder hasn't had any form at all on this tour, even though he looked quite good in the first innings. He looked like he had a little bit of rhythm. I wonder whether you might try and challenge Blackwood now.
Yes.
He almost chipped one straight. Well, he went for 4. It was a great shot, but went just over Jimmy Anderson's head about 3 overs ago.
I mean, I know it sounds obvious and silly, but I think in this situation, England need to be trying to get both batsmen out, don't they?
Yeah, I think they've given that a couple of overs.
Yeah.
And maybe just change it again. But it's full credit to West Indies.
Yeah.
30 for 3. One of the other top, Campbell, retired hurt. The way Chase and Blackwood played. They played really well. I mean, England can still win this, but it's looking unlikely.
It is. It's strongly favouring the West Indies now. Obviously, a wicket would put some real pressure on up there again, and England has got to make them work so hard for every run. Ground staff are running off. That's quite a quick drinks break, actually. We're told that it might take longer than usual because all of the sanitisation rules and so on.
They haven't really done that, though. I thought they were talking about wiping down the stumps. And
yeah.
Or have I just misread that?
Well, I think if someone touches them, they do.
They've been hit quite a lot in this game.
They have. Well, yeah, they've been picked up. I think something happens then. So, Jermaine Blackwood, are you going to finish it off this time? That's the question. 22 are needed. He's on strike. He's got James Anderson to bowl at him. And let's look at this field and see if they're now deciding that they're going to try and just make every run difficult to get.
Mid-on still quite deep.
Yeah, and mid-off.
That's
an
easy single for him.
And Stokes is gesturing in that direction. I think he's asking Jimmy Anderson what he wants here. Well, they're taking out, and Blackwood played a brilliant lofted off drive off Anderson in that spell before tea, so they're perhaps trying to take that out of the equation. Here he comes, Anderson, and bowls. It's short. Blackwood jumps up, defends it, plays it back up the pitch, and Anderson kicks the ball away to be picked up by Burns at cover. So mid-off and mid-on are just over halfway to the boundary, really. They're deeper than they'd normally be, but they're not absolutely on the boundary edge. There's a deep square leg and a long leg. There's one slip and a gully. Stokes will be learning all about captaincy at the moment.
He's had 5 days of it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of decisions, haven't there? From the day before to all this.
Anderson dips his head. A familiar run-up. Here he comes and bowls, and Blackwood's put out of the way. They should probably only get one here as the fielder comes up from that square third man. It's Denley. 21 to win.
If West Indies do win this match, Blackwood's innings will be one of the highest made in a successful fourth innings chase by someone batting at 6 or lower. It will be in the top 10 of that list. There have only been 600s at 6 or lower in a successful fourth innings chase, and only one in England, and for that you have to go back to the 1902 Oval Test and a famous innings by Gilbert Jessop, who hit 104 in 77 minutes.
That's been a terrific innings, that.
A one-wicket win.
179 for 5. Here's Anderson moving in, bowling to Holder, who covers up, turns the ball to mid-wicket, and then immediately goes for a little stroll, rehearses the shot again, thinking himself through. Perhaps think I might play that a bit straighter. Looking at the way he's thinking there, he's looking at his bat, giving it a twiddle. Slips are waiting. Buttler there with the gloves on. He dropped Blackwood on 20. There's no escaping that. Crawley should have run him out. Anderson bowls to Holder, up on his toes and pushing out for a single to Denley's right. 20 to win. Out goes deep square leg.
Yeah, mid-on, mid-off. You can see Ben Stokes is just moving closer. Hopefully he's reminding him, Blackwood, that that's happening, making him aware that the shot is on. Try and force a mistake.
Yeah,
he's played really maturely. He hasn't taken any of the carrots dangled by England.
Anderson with 2 slips moves in, bowls to Blackwood, who's beaten. He plays and misses. Oh, and Pope there at mid-wicket kicks at the turf. Sibley's got his head in his hands. Stokes on his knees at second slip. One of those, you're only talking about a couple of millimetres or something between that taking the edge or not.
I have been surprised how little the pitch has gone up and down. Like yesterday afternoon when Gabriel came with that second new ball, once he warmed up.
Anderson bowls a tighter field. That's played one-handed by Blackwood out to mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Pope, and that's the end of the over. 180 for 5. 20 more required by West Indies. Holder has 7. Blackwood, though, the man who's leading the West Indies to, well, apparently towards victory here. At 89 not out.
I can't even remember any balls keeping low today.
No.
And actually, we spoke about that quite a lot yesterday, and maybe more on the channel, but quite a few balls there. Those out the West Indies bowlers who hit the pitch a bit harder, but you wouldn't say that they would you? Like maybe Gabriel does, but Jofra hits it pretty hard when he bounces. Stokes, he's
heavy roller.
They did put the heavy roller.
Yeah. Has that flattened it?
Possibly.
180 for 5. Holder on strike. Critical for England here. In goes Stokes. He bowls to him outside the off stump, and Holder lines the ball up and allows that to go past. Just feel that, well, 2 men for me. It's going to be either Archer or Stokes could do it. Could do something, but time is ticking away, or at least the runs required coming down now. 20. 5 wickets in hand, and one of those is Campbell, the opening batsman, who's got clearly an injured toe. Presumably can't run. In goes Stokes. Bowls. Oh, and he beats the outside edge.
It's amazing how the total comes down and it gets harder to get over that line. Why is that? Why is that?
I don't know. You just somehow grip the bat a bit tighter and you're just gritting your teeth a bit. I don't know. I mean, the way that Blackwood plays, he could just go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And it's all over and walk off.
I don't think he's going to do that.
I don't think he's going to do it.
I think the way he's played, he hasn't looked like doing it.
No. 5 boundaries would do it. In goes Stokes. Bowles. Holder works that off his hip. Nice shot. Very well fielded, though. At square leg. Diving save.
All 3 sixes.
3 sixes. That'd be a
we had a 6 in this game. There hasn't been a 6 in this match. When was the last Test match without a 6, Andy?
Well, I was looking that up overnight, would you believe,
really?
Alistair? Yeah.
I didn't say up.
Don Bess, having fielded that so well, is now being pushed out to deep square leg. No one out on the offside boundary. Stokes on his way now. Bowles to Holder, and once more allows that fullish length ball to go through to the keeper. 20 more to win for West Indies. England need 5 wickets.
The last Test match anywhere in the world without a 6 was in December 2016, South Africa, Sri Lanka at Port Elizabeth. The last time in England was England's defeat to Pakistan at Lord's in 2016.
Stokes wheels round, he's got a shadow to his left. And he goes again, willing himself on. Over the wicket, there, and he bowls to Holder, pushes into the leg side. Weighty shouts because Wood can field that at mid-on. So there's only Wood in the sort of a one-day circle, if you like, in the leg side. There's a deep square leg and a long leg. Quiet out there, not hearing much. We used to call it rattle. Not much. There's a shout from, I think, Josh Buttler's shout that was.
They have handled the no crowds really well, haven't they?
Yeah. Both teams.
Yeah. It's been a brilliant Test match.
Well, it's showing that you can a crowdless bio bubble can still produce a tremendous finale. You can still do it. Now out goes deep point, and Holder saying, "Hang on a minute, I'm not ready yet."
I still reckon it's worked in West Indies' favour in this chase, because I think when England had been 30 for when they were 30 for 3, that crowd would have been loud. It would have been an intimidating place to bat. Really got your adrenaline going if you're West Indies batter.
Here's Stokes wide of the off stump, and there's no stroke from Holder again. And Stokes is slapping his hand there in frustration. He's doing all he can, but up on that board, the story is told. 20 more to win.
Just a random thought. Most of my thoughts are random. In the football, has there been more away wins because of the no crowds?
You are asking absolutely the wrong person.
You don't support any football team, do you?
I go occasionally to Leicester City.
Okay.
I do.
Oh, when they won the league?
No, I didn't go once that year, actually. I've supported them through the bad times. No, we trundle in on the train from Melton Mowbray once a year. But then the times got silly, and in fact the last train to Melton left at about half time. One game. 180 for 5. In comes Anderson. Bowls, and he's put that in the air, he's clipped it away. But not going to hand at all. Waits for Pope to come in and pick the ball up in the crease. Tosses it back to Anderson. 180 for 5. 20 to win. West Indies in no apparent rush at all. And neither is James Anderson. He's wandering slowly into the distance. Mid-on is set quite deep, just in case Blackwood is thinking of going for an attacking shot. Anderson bowls, and Blackwood's going to get certainly one run here. Denley runs to his right, picks it up cleanly, and down into the teens we go. 19 to win, and apparently there have been more away wins than normal without crowds. Could be. There you go.
I think we can't use that as an excuse, can we, at all, for the West? I think West Indies have played really well.
You're probably right, though, at 27 for 3, but actually more so during the afternoon when the game was drifting away from England. You can imagine.
Yeah.
You imagine the crowd then on a Sunday afternoon. The Barmies would be in. Perhaps they persuaded Billy Cooper out of retirement to blow his trumpet, and it would have been very lively. 181 for 5, 19 to win. Holder on strike. Anderson bowls to him. He comes forward. Yes, he calls. Denley picks up one-handed, throws the stumps at the far end, hits Holder though en route. So it's another scurried single. 18 to win. See the tension down there in the West Indies area.
I bet they haven't moved seats for a while.
No. I feel sorry in case someone was pedalling on the bicycles out there. I think our old friend Cornwall's on it. But, that'll be pretty hard work if he's got to keep going on there for the last couple of hours. 182 for 5. Slips waiting. In comes Anderson. Bowls to Blackwood, who steals another single. Pushing to cover's left hand. Burns this time. Hurls the ball at the stumps. A lot of throwing going on, but no hitting at the moment. 17 to win. And they're just stealing these singles. And Stokes brings the fielders up a little tighter.
I think all the men have got to come up for Blackwood now, haven't they? You've got to really tighten the one if he wants to play the big shot.
Force a big shot.
Yeah.
So go on, you try and do it. 183 for 5. Anderson moves in, bowls to Holder, it's full, clipped away out towards the deep square leg boundary. A chase from fine leg from Mark Wood, who prevents it going at for 4. They come back for 2. 185 for 5. 15 to win. What do you do to try and force a full stroke from Blackwood?
Bess?
I was thinking that, but do you? It doesn't look like getting out to a seamer.
It's worth a try, isn't it? The last throw of the dice.
Anderson bowls, and that's very neatly defended by Holder to complete the over. Anderson just throws the ball away. He's not looking happy at the moment.
The two spinners that Bess was picked ahead of both have outstanding fourth innings records. Leach has bowled 6 times in the fourth innings, 21 wickets, average 17. Moeen Ali, 24 fourth innings, 59 wickets, average 22. And obviously that doesn't take into account the specific situations, but as we saw, Moeen played a big role in that win over India on this ground two years ago. So it has been an area of strength for England over the last couple of years. In fact, they both have a better fourth innings record than Graham Swan, who also had a good fourth innings record, not quite as good in terms of average.
Amazing stat.
That is, I was surprised by that, I must say. Hope Swanee's not listening. We'll get a very angry text.
He had 40 wickets, average 27, so it's all pretty tidy in the fourth innings.
Just try and pull it back. So Stokes is continuing. He's bowling to Blackwood. Up he goes and bowls, and Blackwood gives up a little bit of room there towards the leg side, trying to open up the offside as he hits it straight to cover. So I was thinking Bess, but it just kind of seems that really is a last throw of the dice with men halfway back or something, long on halfway back.
Yeah, you'd have to have men. You'd have to
tantalising.
Maybe take the short leg out and have a couple of fielders on the leg side, trying to stop the easy single, and then have the man down here. Halfway, 3/4, as you rightly said. 2 short mid wickets. I like that. Men, deep points come up.
Well, they've got to try and just squeeze every run now. 15 to win. Stokes in the sunshine, bowls short. Oh, what an extraordinary shot that is. He's going to get 4 for this, down through third man. And he seemed to be just ducking away and moving away to leg, and then a little fiddle of the bat. I'd like to see this again.
He's played this a couple of times today. He's played it really well. They've gone short of him a few times. And he's just hit a one-day shot, uppercut, under total control.
It's a brilliant shot, isn't it?
It is.
And that's why they had the third man for much of the day. But, well, they haven't got one now, and he played the shot. It's almost like a conductor with a baton. It's a little flourish. Brilliant shot. 11 to win. Stokes moves in, bowls. Blackwood drives into the offside. He wants a single. Holder says no. And Anderson's there very quickly at mid-off to prevent it. 11 to win. Blackwood's 95 not out. And Holder's coming down for a conversation with him now. No need to do anything silly. 95 not out. He drives to mid-off and is caught. Well, that is remarkable. He's drilled a catch straight to James Anderson. Stokes goes over to say well done, and Blackwood Well, he's got so close again, but he's drilled a catch straight to mid-off and walks off with 11 to win.
What was your line? Don't do anything silly.
Yeah.
Just before he's absolutely nailed. It's another really good catch by Jimmy Anderson. Caught him in the first innings as well. Very similar flat catch. Hit very hard. He's played so well. Played an innings of he's played an innings of real maturity.
Imagine the crowd now. It's just silence. It's silence for a dramatic moment. He hit it beautifully. Hard. And obviously, I think just trying to go over Anderson there. He thought it was in the slot. Went for the drive. And I'm afraid he's hit it beautifully, but straight to Anderson at mid-off. Is it too late?
I was just about to say before that ball, I think not even this test match is going to have a twist in the tail.
Test matches usually have twists in the tail. They're exhausting.
He's limping out.
This is Campbell, isn't it?
It's a very slow walk to the wicket.
Well, this will be interesting because we'll see how mobile he is. He retired hurt on 1. There's 11 to win.
Wicket now would be interesting, wouldn't it, with Joseph, Gabriel left.
Yeah, Roach.
And Roach.
Blackwood's innings 95 from 154 balls, 12 fours. If West Indies win, it will be the 8th highest score by someone batting 6 or lower in a successful 4th innings chase.
Well, it was an excellent effort. It really was. To play as he did, out of character, and restrain himself, and then he drills a catch to mid-off and left West Indies with 11 to win. The injured Campbell is over his bat, and Stokes on his way to bowl to him. From round the wicket he bowls and hits him on the pad, and a huge appeal for leg before wicket. Given not out, felt leg side-ish from here, especially with the angle.
Does Campbell play shots? He can't really run.
I think he probably has to, doesn't he? Or does he supports his captain, I guess.
It's close, though.
I mean, if he can't really run, then it's down to... Well, I don't know.
He must be sort of those who would come out in front of Dowrich.
Yes.
Hold it.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Here's Stokes again from round the wicket. Sun behind some cloud, he bowls, and this is played by Campbell into the offside. Well, he seemed to set off there all right.
Yeah.
He did. And, I mean, he's not really hobbling around.
No, I think I was mistaken. His very slow walk out for a limp, but actually...
It was a thoughtful walk out to the middle, I think. And now deep in conversation. Suspect holder saying, how are you? What can you do? 11 to win. England need 4 wickets. Couldn't be tighter. You've got an injured man, and you've got the three bowlers.
The tie. We did have said, is this game going to be the tie?
Absolutely.
It's been an extraordinary week.
Resuming all the excitement from last year. Well, Anderson's off and Mark Wood's coming on.
Get Holden out.
Well, yes.
First ball. Come on, Mark Wood.
It's a terrific finish to the first Test match of the summer. The next one starts on Thursday, by the way, up at Old Trafford. Same sort of situation. No crowd. Bubble. And now Denley's coming back down again to the square third man boundary. The deep square leg. And Wood comes tearing in, pavilion behind him, sun behind some cloud. He bowls to Holder, is forward, steering into the offside. Let's watch Campbell run. Well, he's done fine there. He's come cruising down, and it's 10 to win.
Is it one of those that didn't hurt quite as much as he thought, but when he went down, he had to go off to save face?
Could have. He certainly had a lot of ice on it.
I think Ben Stokes has to bring the field in for everyone now, mate. Just there with that last little partnership between the last few balls, or last couple of overs with Holder and Blackwood. But when they brought the men in, there wasn't those easy singles, and they didn't seem to be stuck on 20 for a while. I'm not sure just giving Jason Holder one is...
They've got to get a wicket.
Yeah.
They've got to get into this tail. and hope that Gabriel has another mad moment.
We'll get to Gabriel.
Yes. Here's Wood again, round the wicket, and he bowls, and Campbell squares up and plays it easily back to him. 3 slips, so they're really, well, necessarily on the attack. I'll spread out. Backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on. Forward square leg, really, you'd call him there, Bess. And then a fine leg as well as Wood. He usually walks back in this direction as if he's going to come round the wicket. Now he is coming round the wicket. To the left-handed Campbell. Up he comes, and he bowls to him. Oh, it goes straight through him. Straight through him. One of those again that's just a few millimetres away from the edge of the bat. So close.
Oh, it's a good ball.
Yeah.
Really good ball from around the wicket. It's just got it to hold its line. I wouldn't say it's swinging, would you? I'd just say it's just held its line from around the wicket. Campbell had to play at it. Very, very close to nicking that behind.
Slips are ready. Campbell waits very still. Wood moves in, bowls to him, is forward now. A nice defensive shot this. Everything in position, head over the ball, which runs away to Crawley at point. 190 for 6. West Indies need 10. England need 4 wickets.
The last time Jimmy Anderson went wicketless in the second innings of a home test was when West Indies beat England at Leeds in August 2017.
Yeah, that's not a good omen, is it?
Not for 73 then.
Not a good omen.
It's excluding the Australia game at Edgbaston when he was injured last year.
Wood leaps, bowls. Oh, I thought Campbell was going to go at that. There's a huge backswing and then a very elaborate leave at the last possible moment. 190 for 6, 10 to win, 4 wickets to win. Just the bowlers to come. Joseph, Roach and Shannon, Gabriel. Deep point goes back. Again, opening up that opportunity of a single. It's funny how things change, isn't it? Not so long ago they're trying to get Holder on strike, and now they're trying to get Campbell on strike and happy to give away a run if necessary. In comes Mark Wood and he bowls, and that's pushed away into the leg side. Archer comes in quickly from mid-on. There is no run. It's the end of the over at 190 for 6, 10 to win, 4 wickets. Some of the West Indies will be shouting in Jamaica or Barbados or somewhere. Just hit the ball, man. Hit the ball, beat the ball. Just get these 10. It's 6 or 4. Win the game.
Well, if I was in the change room now in the West Indies, I wouldn't be watching. I was terrible watching.
Oh, okay.
No, some of the great moments.
Well, even as captain?
Even as captain, yeah. Pretended to watch. I had my sunglasses on, but I'll be looking down. Sunglasses are always the key.
Does that include when you were fielding at slip?
That's a very good point, Andy. Well made.
There'll be quite a lot of people saying yes.
Yeah.
But I tried to keep my eyes open. I shut my eyes quite a lot of sure leg.
It is horrible in the dressing room batting. And I'd have to say, as a tail ender, because you just know there's a real chance that you're going to have to go out there and try and win the game.
What were your main scoring shots, Aggers?
Oh, they were wide-ranging. Usually it involved the offside mainly.
Just step away and carve.
Well, a little bit of that went on. 190 for 6. Stokes is going to bowl to his opposite number, and his unique stat is still on. It's still on. But at the moment, West Indies captain is batting very resolutely indeed. He's on 11. Campbell hasn't added to the 1 that he had before he retired hurt. Ben Stokes on his way now, bowls to Holder, who drives fluently but straight to mid-off. Anderson's the fielder. Twiddle of the bat from Holder, who really is having quite a nice net at the moment. He's just he's in absolutely no hurry at all. And why should he be? The teams aren't going anywhere. They'll be travelling up tomorrow to Manchester. Swishing away a fly or a wasp or something there at the moment. And Now he's ready, thumping at the crease. You can hear that echoing round this empty ground. Stokes moves in, bowls to him, and that's a bit of a freebie there on his pads. They'll get 2. Bess pursues it to within about 20 yards of the boundary, I suppose. It's drifting onto the leg stump. It was nicely played. 8 to win. Now it is 2. 2 boundaries, 2 hits.
Nice shot from Holder. Very controlled, and it was actually very straight. If he'd missed it, I think that would have been out.
Stokes looks furious. He's got his hands on his hips. Two fours will do it. England need 4 wickets. Stokes spins himself a catch. On his way again. Holder's waiting. Bat raised. Stokes is there. He bowls to him, and it's worked into the leg side this time to long leg, where Archer throws the ball back. It's another single. 7 to win.
Only twice in the last 25 years have West Indies won successive away test matches. They won their last match against Afghanistan in November of last year. The only 2 other occasions they've won back-to-back away from home were both 2-match series in Bangladesh, one in 2012, one in 2002. So this would be a rare double success for West Indies away from home.
A good side these days. It seems to be the people who need convincing of that are their supporters. This is a disciplined, focused team.
A lot of credit has to go to Jason Holder for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a leader in every sense now.
And Phil Simmons too, I think.
Yeah.
193 for 6. Campbell's on strike. Can Stokes summon something? He goes in round the wicket and bowls to him. It's outside the off stump, and Campbell watches it go through at no great pace through to Buttler. 7 to win. Where are England going to get? Well, this one wicket that gets the bowlers in. Little nick to slip. They're waiting there.
I think LBW. LBW from around the wicket.
Okay. Here's Stokes again, kicking up his heels. He bowls, it does swing in, but it's driven away. Can Midoff stop it? Yes, he can. They've taken a run. It's Wood there who's running slightly backwards to make sure they got the angle right to stop it from beating him. 6 to win.
If Campbell has got a really sore toe, who would open the batting for them next week? Probably should ask Carlos that, really,
probably
rather
should.
than you.
Yeah. Well, they'll doubtless, in all their reserves, they'll have players available. Because of course, they've got to have these reserves in case someone gets ill, don't you? So they've got huge squads. 6 to win. Can the West Indies captain finish it in style, I wonder? You hear the drone fluttering overhead. Stokes moves in, bowls just short of a length. Holder moves into line, plays it out to cover. It's the end of the over. Mark Wood throws Stokes his cap. 194 for 6. You can hear that drone hovering quite high above the ground. Very distinctive sound. Shadows lengthening now. The sunshine lighting up the woods at the far end behind the pavilion. Some golfers going out and having a late afternoon round, so heading off into the distance. It's a lovely golf course to walk around. I'm not a golfer, so I don't know what the quality of the actual course is, but it's got a lot of water, some nice lakes. Very pleasant stroll around there in the mornings. Here's Wood, rushing in, bowls outside the off stump, with West Indies needing 6 to win, and Campbell lets it go through.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get that in the middle of Old Trafford, are we?
No, we're not.
Next week.
And the gym is closed too, I think, in the hotel there. We thought we might get a bit of car park cricket going, didn't we? I'll finally get the opportunity, Cookie, to demonstrate that the ball swinging into your pads is the one that they should have bowled to throughout your career. And you'll be LBW Agnew. Here's Wood. Bowls short, and it really discomforts Campbell. There's got another blow, this time on the gloves. I think Wood's asking if he's all right, or words to that effect, but it was a hostile ball coming in towards the left-hander, who's got the hobble out again now, and the physio's coming out.
And he sprinted 2 a minute ago and hobbled back when he suddenly realised he was meant to have a sore toe.
Physio's on the way.
It's a good bouncer though, right on the money.
Nasty ball.
Right on the money.
I did ask Matthew Hoggard the other day when I saw him, how would you have bowled at Alistair Cook? Because we've got this running debate. I said, he said I'd run up and just swing the ball into his pads. LBW.
I think I faced Hoggy a little bit.
Did he?
Yeah. I'm going to wait to see what Andy comes up with.
He's on very good form, the Hogster. He's the king of the barbecues now, he's a proper chef.
Did he go Master Chef?
I think he did, actually.
No, I would have liked that, Aggers, if you're running in trying to hit my pads.
Yeah, I know.
I would have enjoyed your type of bowling, I think.
Well, most people did. You wouldn't be the exception.
Gucci called you buffet bowling, didn't he?
He did.
Help yourself.
He did. Not very kind, that. I think he was England captain at the time. I knew my prospects were slim.
Might take a bit of digging the Cook v Hoggard first class head-to-head. That might need to work.
I would love to see Cook LBW Hoggard. That would just make my day.
I'm trying to think if I played against him.
Physio's gone. Campbell's better. And Wood on his way. Moves in, bowls to him. He's crisply. Straight to the fielder. Backward point. If you're listening on Radio 4 Longwave, at 5 to 6, there's a shipping forecast. So look for other options. Retune to 5 Live Sports Extra. You can go online. There's the BBC Sports app. Find a means of doing it.
England actually had 12 fielders on there. The old cameraman.
Oh, Rover.
The Rover, sorry, is that what we call?
Well, I think so. We just named him Rover.
Rover was on there at deep mid-off.
He's like was it the Mars? That was a rover, wasn't it? That was chugging round Mars, I think, taking pictures. Here's Wood, bowls. Campbell hits it firmly back at him. Wants a single. He's setting off now. There's no hobbling. And Holder's dashing for his ground at this end. A flurry of dust there as he runs his bat into his ground.
He'll be fine for next week, won't he?
I think he will, looking at that. 5 to win.
Just what you want when you're chasing 200. Alistair, your opening batsman, 3 not out.
Yes, it'll be a funny old scorecard, won't it? You'll be thinking, really? You'll be looking in 10 years' time, thinking, why is Camp 3 not out?
Yeah, only faced 24 balls as a serious hogging of the strike.
Yes, absolutely. 195 for 6. West Indies need 5 to win. Can England find a miracle? Wood's on his way and he bowls short, and Holder keeps everything out of the way there, just dropping the wrists. It's collected by Joss Buttler. There will be, of course, post-match interviews and so on, done in our new normal way, down there over the boundary edge. Which happily looks like it's going to be in the shade, which is nice.
Are you going down there? Are you doing it?
Oh, I suppose so. Yes, as long as my temperature's okay. There's the chap down here in his little booth, isn't there? You've got to go past him first. 195 for 6. Here's Wood, wide of the crease, bowls to Holder, working into the leg side. Nothing for him there, though. Just turned away to mid-wicket. The end of the over. 5 to win. Holder 14, Campbell 3. They are tuning in somewhere in the world, maybe in the Caribbean. Blackwood made a really good 95, but with 11 needed, drilled a catch to mid-off, where Anderson took the catch. Stokes is still going because he's aware of this stat. He just knows how he'll make Andy Zoltzman's day if he gets Jason Holder out. The first time ever in the whole history of Test cricket that the captains have got each other out in both innings.
I think it would only be the 5th time or 6th time, I'll check the CricViz stat, that it's happened in all of first-class cricket history, which is a lot of games.
It's a lot of games. All around the world. Okay. Well. Well, Campbell's over his bat. Stokes again. 5 needed by the West Indies. 4 wickets. You just feel if anyone's going to do it, and Ben Stokes is going to do it, but he's been running in for a while now. And he goes in round the wicket and bowls, and that's carved down towards third man for 4. And the scores are level. And the game is up as far as England are concerned now. A little bit of width is just beautifully chopped away by Campbell. No one down at third man. And there'll be some relaxing up in that West Indies dressing room now. Yeah. Surely, even with 1 needed to win and 9 wickets down, surely Gabriel would be able to keep an end up. 1 needed.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Full credit to West Indies. They've played a brilliant Test match.
Stokes from round the wicket moves in, bowls, and Campbell works into the leg side, calls his captain through, and there they are. West Indies are home. They've won by 4 wickets. And there's a touch of the elbows there between Stokes and Campbell. And the West Indies deserve that. They've hauled themselves to their total from 27 for 3 and with a man retired hurt. And as the players, there's no high fives or shaking of hands, they're touching elbows out there at the end of a very hard fought game. And West Indies go 1-0 up with 2 more to play. And it's always easy to go back on events and so on, but England selected their team for bowling last on this pitch, and it hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked, and as always, the decisions you make, if you lose the game, they are going to get scrutinised, and England will expect that. That is the nature of it, isn't it? Ben Stokes will be a very, very honest guy, and he will admit it. But actually, whether they got the decision right to bowl first, or to bat first, to bowl last, leave Stuart Broad out, it was their discussions, but ultimately they didn't bat well enough in certain periods of this game. 200, it wasn't a 200 all-out pitch. Yes, it would have been tough on conditions.
Just going to send our Radio 4 long wave listeners away to the shipping forecast. You will be back.
Sorry, forgot about the old chips.
Very important. Off go the players. I'm going to head off to the far end, I think, because it's a bit of a process to get there. And we'll get Simon Mann to come in here and preside over proceedings as the thunderous roar of the hover cover sets off from the boundary edge. And Cookie, carry on your up some, and I'll talk to you from down there.
Yeah, I was just going on to say that 200 wasn't enough on that wicket. There was a bit of swing, and West Indies bowled well, but 200 all out. And then actually yesterday, when they were 240 for 3, I think 248 for 3, to be bowled out for 318, 5 wickets quickly. It's cost him. It has cost him. So all the talk about the toss leaving Stuart Broad out, which will be the main headline, I actually think the batters have to take a bit of that blame.
Well, really well played, West Indies, and a fine Test match as well. I think we need to say that right at the start. Fine Test match, first match of the summer. We've waited so long, and it's been an engrossing game.
Brilliant game of cricket. Both sides, actually the standard was very high for not having played much cricket, or any competitive cricket, a few inter-squad games, to produce a game, I reckon, as good a standard as that was. Full credit to them.
Yeah, and a game of fine margins as well. And you look at today, things, England mistakes they made that had a huge bearing on the result. You think of Josh Buttler's drop catch off Jermaine Blackwood when he made 20 down the leg side.
Always, isn't it? Always look back to any game of cricket. You think, well, what if? But England weren't good enough. Ultimately, over 5 days, and West Indies were the slightly better side. And I saw Carlos at lunch. He's got his West Indies trousers on. I saw Carlos at lunch and he wasn't looking very happy, but that grin is back.
We'll hear from Carlos in just a moment. I mean, West Indies did tremendously well to win from 27 for 3, and with John Campbell retired. I think a lot of people on this ground, perhaps even Carlos as well, we'll get his view in a moment, thought that the game was slipping away from them at that point. And Jermaine Blackwood played, probably his best Test innings, actually. When you think, he's made 100 against England before, but this was a match-winning 100. This is a man-of-the-match performance from Blackwood.
He played brilliantly, actually. Like, we all talk about how, the rash shots he has played in the past, but there's none of that. He left his ego on the boundary and he played the situation, played every ball on his merits. He's obviously a serious talent. There's no doubt about that. And if he can channel more of that mental smartness onto every innings he plays, he should produce more innings, because he can bat. There is no doubt he can bat. He's got a very solid technique. He's an attacking player, yes, but he didn't take any of the bait England offered. He played very sensibly. He took a lot of the singles and was quite happy just to rotate the stride. He didn't always have to be crashing boundaries. And Yeah, that was a really, really good. Well, it was a shame we didn't get 100 for him and 95, and he definitely won the game for him. Whether you give him or Gabriel man of the match, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know whether players are desperate to be man of the match or not, but Gabriel played his part hugely with 9 wickets. But I just went on a pitch like this, where it was difficult to score. It's hard work for the batsman. He was the one that really stood out when it mattered.
Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, I think I would. I don't want to give bias to the batsman, but he played. Yeah, I think he probably has. He was the difference, wasn't he? He was the difference. That innings was the difference. Gabriel bowled beautifully. Holder the first innings with his 6 for, set the tone for West Indies. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you're. Yeah, go on. We'll give it to him.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Alistair. We'll hear more from you during the second Test match at Old Trafford, and Alistair will be on the highlights on BBC Two tonight at 7:30 as well. Carlos Brathwaite is alongside me as well, with a big beaming smile on his face. Well, it was hard work, but that hard work really paid off for West Indies. Excellent victory.
We asked for one of the batters to hold the hand up and get an 80 or 90. Next time I'll rephrase it to a century and hopefully get him over the line. But Blackwood put his hand up. I think it helped that he came into bat. I think it was just before lunch.
He came in at 27 for 3 in the 12th over.
Yeah, just before lunch he came into bat, so it forced him to put his ego aside at least for a couple of overs and get the team to lunch. He did that, and then he came back out after lunch. As Cookie mentioned, he resisted the bait that Bess threw up, and then he just proceeded to bat so eloquently, so carefree and classy, calmly, collectively. Adjectives you don't normally use for Jermaine Blackwood. And I mentioned on air, if he can do those things, he sets England into a false trap of thinking he'll eventually play a rash shot, which only came when he got out. But before he got out, the way that he played, running between the wickets, impetus, injection of positivity, he done everything right other than get 100.
How difficult is it for a batsman like him to play in that way, to sort of change your game in a way?
I think it's all about intent. I spoke to him after the first innings and let him know I was very disappointed with how he got out. Just at the time, it wasn't necessary and it seemed more like an emotional, egotistical decision. I just want to get after the spin. Whereas today he proved he can get after the spin without taking much risk. And he played some lovely cover drives, similar areas but all along the ground, and showed the world that he had a bit of touch to his game. You think about the cuts off the spinner and the uppercuts off the pace when they were getting rib height and above. He just showed that he had a different touch to his game, and he's matured a lot since 2015. He obviously got a century against England as well. He had a good 12 months or so. He got some runs in Abu Dhabi as well, and then fell off, clamoring to the hype of, crash, bang, wallop. But he's gone away. He's worked very hard. He's worked very hard on his fitness as well, and it proved today. Mentally, you can see he was always in the game. He never lost touch. He never fell out. Thinking wise, he was always there, and he was fit enough to take it all the way to 95. It's just a shame he couldn't carry on and get a century.
And West Indies' 4th win against England in their last 6 Test matches.
Yeah, I mean, obviously West Indies would have been considered underdogs coming in, but the recent record against England has been very, very good. I was a part of the 2015 squad, and I remember I can't remember who it was. The CEO at the time said it's basically a walkover. We drew the first test and then eventually won the last test and left that series with a 1-all result, which was good for us at the time. You go back to 2017, leaving with a 1-all result there as well. The Headingley Heroes, Kraigg, Brathwaite and Shai, and then the victory last year, and the way they've started the series this year. And this has probably been full circle for a team that has been building over the last 4 years or so, and I just hope that they can replicate this performance in the next 2 tests. There's always been the challenge, not only to do it once in a series, but to back it up the game after and the game after that. Even if they don't win the next 2 games and we see a performance similar to this, I'd leave very, very happy.
Yeah, because it's a long time since West Indies have won a Test series in England.
How long has it been?
Well, I reckon it's back to 88, isn't it? The last time West Indies won a series in England.
Between then and now, if it was any team to be well enough equipped to win a series, it would be this team.
Yeah. How important has Jason Holder been to this team? What's his role in this side? What does he do? What does he give it?
It's very important. I mean, if we go right back to when he was first-handed captaincy, I think it was 2015, his play was still a bit under threat, and looking forward to 5 years from now, which is present day to day, this is what they thought he would have been bringing to the team, not only with his captaincy, but with his effect with ball and bat, #1 all around in the world, leads his band of brothers, they call them, admirably. I mean, if rewind to 2015, I don't think that the person that put him in charge could have imagined for such a turnaround in the space of 5 years, but testament and credit to them for having the faith in him, for keeping him on. And then since 2018, he's been a revelation. They've found a set of fast bowlers that they think they can trust. They've supported them, they've backed them. The batting still yet to be consistent enough to challenge all over the world, and on a consistent basis, but it's getting there. And I think the fight that they've showed in tough periods with the bat, surviving Archer's spell today, the running between the wickets, Blackwood's grit and determination, it bodes well going forward. Shai Hope's form is still a bit of a worry. You have to see how Campbell holds up as well, but looking back at the game, and every time we mentioned the batting lineup needing to do something at whatever stage of the game, that's exactly what they did. And Michael Vaughan was mentioning on the highlights how by now teams of yesteryear would have swung a few trying to get some boundaries and bring it home, and they just bided the time, and they trusted the defence, trusted the leads, wait until the bad ball come and then they put it away.
West Indies' second Test match victory in England since 2000, since they had that innings victory at Edgbaston back in 2000. Of course, they won at Headingley, and they have won this first Test of the summer, and a really gritty win from the West Indies. Tight, tough Test match over 5 days, and they outlasted England. You mentioned Michael. Michael's here as well. What's your reaction to what you've seen over the last 5 days, Michael?
Well, great Test match. It's been a great week when you think about the circumstances that the players are playing the game in. No crowd, the bio bubble. They've been at cricket venues, looking out the hotel rooms, just looking at grass for 3 weeks. The preparation, not ideal. Playing amongst yourself, the intensity in those games is never anything like what you're going to get in a first-class match, never mind a Test match. So to see the quality for 5 days, the best team won without any question. You just look at the first innings of both England and the West Indies at 204. All right, the ball was moving around a bit, and the questions will be to Ben Stokes about the decision at the toss, the lack of Stuart Broad. But ultimately, the better team won.
Let's go to Jonathan Agnew on the far side of the ground. He's got West Indies captain with him.
I certainly have, towering over the microphone. Tell me how you feel, Jason.
Yeah, I'm really happy, really happy. The boys have worked hard leading up to this first Test match, and to just see the hard work pay off after coming off a long layoff was very good. I'm happy that a couple of guys coming back into the team did well. Shannon, Gabriel outstanding, arguably the man in the match of the game. Jermaine, Blackwood, to me those are 2 high performers for me in this game. After having a long layoff, Jermaine probably hasn't played for a while, and Shannon was coming back off injury, so it's really good to see these guys putting their hands up and leading the charge.
And to do it the hard way. 27 for 3, opening batsman with a crocked toe. It looked then as if England will win the game.
Yeah, a nerve-wracking start, to be honest. After losing John with it blown his toe, and then we had lost 3 quick wickets, we needed the partnership. But it was a really good partnership between Roston and Jermaine. I think that really put us in a really good stead. Put us back on track. Settled the nerves a bit in the dressing room, and then we were able to just building from there and press home.
Yeah. Your batting has been very impressive. The whole attitude, the discipline, the approach. You must be very pleased with that.
Yeah, I was happy to just be there at the end. When I went up to bat, there wasn't many runs left, but it's still important that we didn't give England anything. Anything could have happened on this type of surface with the calibre of bowlers they have. So for me, I just wanted to finish strong.
Talking about Shannon, Gabriel is sitting there. Big fella, he put a lot of work in, didn't he? He's had no real match fitness at all.
Yeah, massive effort by Shannon. wouldn't agree that he didn't have match fitness. I think obviously not having played a match for a while, but we had 2 warm-up games in Manchester, which went really well for him. You know, he had some mileage on the legs coming into this game, so happy that he was able to exhibit the performance that he put out today, and hopefully that could put him in good stead for the rest of the series.
And just tell us about the experience, Jason, about playing with no crowd. I don't know, did it perhaps help a bit today? You didn't have the Barmy Army urging England on and so on.
I honestly missed them. I missed them.
Oh, you missed them as well.
I missed the Barmy Army, but yeah, I guess it was a level playing field, somewhat, not having the 12th man with the crowd, but at the end of the day, you know, the cricket was very entertaining. I think it's a good start back to international cricket, and to have a first test match such at this point, you know, set the series up quite nicely.
Back-to-back away wins for you too.
Yeah, again, we're going pretty well at the moment with the group, you know, and the guys are really taking responsibility now, and that's really good as a group, so hopefully we can continue on as a next, so we're just going to recover and go again.
Talking to us.
Thank you.
There we go, Jason Holder, the West Indies captain, a happy man, as you can imagine. I can see Shannon Gabriel sitting down here as well on the boundary edge. Ben Stokes is lined up there. Not sure who's interviewing Ben, but we'll get to hear from Ben in a minute. Now, who have we got in the commentary box? I can't see from down here. We've got Michael Vaughan. Anything you take out of that, Michael?
No, I mean it's fitting that Jason Holder was there at the end, Aggers. He's a wonderful leader. The way that he bowls, the way that he bats, the way that he speaks, you can clearly see that he has, you know, really got this West Indies team galvanised. They fight. The maturity that they show today, because I was just saying to Carlos, you know, every single team that I played in, if they were chasing 200, and even if we got to win within 20, we're swinging to try and get those runs, particularly towards the end, because that's what generally you do. The composure and the calmness that the West Indies showed today on that chase. When you said they were 27 for 3, an opening batsman in the pavilion, icing his toe, you know, real quality, and the better teams won. You know, we can question should Stuart Broad have played, should Ben Stokes have bowled on day one, but let's just analyse 5 days of cricket that we've seen, and the West Indies have been a better unit. The same problems, as again, we're going to question that decision of Stuart Broad not being in the side. Of course, many will, but it's the batting. England should have got more than 204, and yesterday they were strolling the game, 3 wickets down. Ben Stokes and Zach Crawley are controlling the contest. They've just seen off the second new ball, and then England lose the 5 wickets for 30 runs. That is where the test match has been lost for England.
Yeah, it just seems, Carlos, from here, that the people who need persuading that the West Indies are a decent team are the West Indian public. They seem to be the ones who don't seem to quite believe it.
There have been so many false dawns.
Yes. Oh, I see. I suppose so.
So I guess the pessimists among us just looking for the next test and waiting to see if it happens again the next test. But to be fair to the test team and the test unit, as I call them, they've been doing well now for a period of time. They don't always get the results that the public would want, but you could definitely see a style of play coming together very nicely. You could definitely see maturity. All these guys that have been playing for the last 2 and 3 years, you can see improvements in the game. The stats are looking better, the performances are looking better, and it's only a matter of time before the results look better as well.
Yeah, it is, but it's the focus, isn't it, and the discipline that really impresses now.
Yeah, and I keep mentioning throughout the test matches, the little things. West Indies have always lost on the 1%ers. The running between the wickets. Remember, Jason Holder missed a test match in the West Indies because of slow over rate. Well, throughout this first test, they've been sprinting through between the overs, getting between the wickets, getting to the position, getting into a spot. And it was easy in the first innings because the conditions were favourable. But on that third day, when they had to basically bowl 98 overs, and they knew it was going to be 98 overs, sun was out, they still got through between the overs, and it's now looking like a polished professional test unit, more so than a bunch of guys thrown together to play test cricket. So I mean, over the years we've seen a steady rise for the persons that are true fans, and Shane Dowrich is giving me a little hail shorty, for the true fans and the ones who've been really analysing and, you know, watching the process evolve, they will have definitely seen an upward trend. You think about, you know, the team, it really started for me, the back-to-back home series with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. I think two teams who were vulnerable at the time, especially away, but the way that West Indies played, I think they won against Bangladesh and drew against Sri Lanka, and that really showed them that they can compete at this level and over a consistent period and over the course of a series. They've just yet to do it against a team 1, 2 or 3 over a 3-match test series.
We'll see how they go over the next couple of weeks. Ben Stokes is hear what the England captain has to say. He's, after West Indies won here by 4 wickets, terrific finale with obviously nobody watching and no atmosphere. Some really good and interesting and testing cricket over these 5 days. I mean, we're talking about the Stuart Broad and the batting first and so on, Michael. But actually, you look back at it, you've lost a Test match, and that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, it's the batting. The England's Test match team for 3 or 4 years now. I mean, there was obviously the win in South Africa. They played so well in the last 3 Test matches. They've had a big break. Came home from Sri Lanka. That have been looking forward to continuing with the momentum from South Africa and Sri Lanka. And the old kind of problems have arrived here this week. That the England Test match batting lineup, when it just does a little bit, on day 1, 204, was that par? No, it wasn't. Par would have been around 275. And sometimes you look at dismissals, Aggers, and you go back to the second innings. Just look at the England players' dismissals. Just look at the way that they're getting out. Rory Burns caught at cover point off an off spinner. Players playing across the line, playing big shots, being bowled through the gate. There's technical issues with the Test match batting lineup when the ball does something or they're under pressure. And they've been put under pressure again this week with some outstanding bowling, in particular Shannon, Gabriel and Jason Holder, backed up nicely by Alzarri Joseph and, the spinner Roston Chase. You're looking at a West Indies team that are on the up. They're obviously improving all the time. They're a strong team, but it's discipline that I kind of struggle to look at the England team and think, wait a minute, you've been out disciplined in your own backyard, and that's been a common trend now. We're seeing it pretty much. It won't surprise me if they win the series, but every single team that generally comes to English conditions over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, England do lose a Test match, and they have a performance, and a batting performance in particular, like we've seen this week, and they've now put themselves under a huge amount of pressure to get it right at Old Trafford.
Ben Stokes is here. Well, Ben, disappointing for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always disappointing losing the game. I thought that we had a lot of opportunities with the bat to really put our foots on the throat of West Indies. We'll be able to look back at this game at numerous occasions with the partnerships that we had, first innings and our second innings batting. We just weren't quite ruthless enough to really go on and make our batting innings count. It was a first innings v fourth innings game, I thought. We'll be able to look back on this as a batting unit, and we will be able to identify where we need to be a bit more ruthless.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit familiar, though? I mean, these touches of wickets that do fall.
But how else are you supposed to learn? It's an easy thing to say that, just to go out there and get 400 every time, but you need to have moments like these to understand and as a group of how we need to progress as players. But I thought, especially Zach Crawley in that third innings, thought he played fantastically well. For such a young guy, I thought he played a very, very mature innings. But as I said, we'll all know where we made the errors with the bat. And with the ball, I thought, the lads are absolutely knackered up there. All I asked for today was just leave absolutely everything out on that field for the badge, and they certainly did that.
Yeah. How about the toss? Now, inevitably, I've got to ask you about that and the selection and so on. Do you look back on that now and think maybe should have bowled first, had Stuart Broad on the side in those conditions?
No, I mean, you've got to be good enough as a batting group to put first innings runs on the board no matter what the conditions. We obviously had to take a bit of consideration about previous games here, which is a difficult place to bat in the fourth innings. We put another 60, 70, even 80 runs on top of what they had to chase there, which we go back to our batting innings again. It's a completely different game. And in terms of their selection, if I was to regret that, then it doesn't send a very good message to the guys who played. We went with the decision about pace, thinking that was going to do us better in the long run in this game. But seeing Stuart's interview the other day, I thought was absolutely brilliant. To have a guy who's played over 100 Test matches, taking the amount of wickets that he has, to see the emotion and the desire that he still has burning inside of him is amazing to see as a senior player in this team, and it really does show that he's nowhere near done.
And does that mean that you can see him playing again, I don't know, maybe next week?
It's not my call anymore.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. you could kind of step back now, can you? You've done your bit and you can step away.
Look, I mean, you make decisions and you've got to stand by them, and I'm not the type of person to look back and regret them. We're in a very fortunate position where we've got so many people to be able to pick from. We had to go with a decision, and I'll stand by that. I've loved this week, the whole week building up to being captain for the first time. Obviously, it comes with its stresses, which I found last night. I had a pretty restless night last night, but the other 4 were actually, pretty easy. Not easy, but found myself get to sleep quite well. But look, I'm really looking forward to welcoming Joe back into the squad. Obviously, he's been away for personal reasons, so it's been really great to be able to take over the reins. But this is Joe's team. I'm really looking forward to having him back next week.
Okay. And just the last one. What about the way the game is played, the environment, the rather eerie silence, and the no balmy army that you might have wanted this afternoon to have been urging you on? Yeah,
I mean, look, it's obviously been a complete change to what we're used to. We're used to playing in front of a lot of people, but the message from me was, we shouldn't need a sold-out crowd to get ourselves up for playing for England. You look down on our chest, we've got 3 lions, we've got a number there, and the opportunities that number and the 3 lions have given us over our careers so far is all it should take. We know we've had a lot of people back home watching on TV, so having a crowd here, it was a difference in terms of atmosphere.
Yes.
But in terms of giving us that extra energy and effort, I didn't personally feel that it was a massive what's the right word? It wasn't a problem. Obviously, the Barmy Army and the fans we get are fantastic, and they give you an extra bit of energy.
Yes.
But that doesn't affect the energy or the effort that was shown this week by everybody. Which
well, I think everyone would agree with that. Who's been watching, actually?
Yeah, definitely.
They definitely do that. Well, there you go. So, you're not going to go away. I'll see you on Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, you're all going to be stuck together again in your bubble. Is that going to be difficult, having lost a game, keeping heads up?
No, I mean, look, normally sometimes we would have the opportunity to go home in between games and, go back and see the family, but we obviously knew what we were in for. You've got to make sacrifices as cricketers, as we always do, and this is just a different sacrifice in terms of staying away and being together again. Making sure that we get cricket back on the radar, which we've managed to do this week. It's been brilliant to be a part of. It's a quick turnaround, obviously, but we win together, we lose together, so yeah.
Fair play. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers.
There we are. Ben Stokes, who has happily thrown away the captain's armband, giving it back to Joe Root. What are you taking away from that, Michael?
Well, I think he speaks great. I think he's very honest. Loved his words about Stuart Broad. I like the fact that he doesn't regret his decisions. And I totally agree with him. I mean, would Stuart have Broad made a difference this week and improved the England side? Absolutely, he would, Aggers. He's an incredible bowler with all those wickets. That combination of Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad, of course, it's a partnership which has probably got a year or so left, and it'd be very difficult to have that partnership again going forward, because you just can't replace that quality. But what England are trying to do, they're trying to look after the here and now, which they thought they would be doing in terms of Jofra Archer. Jofra Archer may not have played, Aggers, and we wouldn't have seen that spell this afternoon. So I actually don't look at that decision of having too much effect on the game. It's the batting. And again, because it's Stuart Broad and he's a legend of the game, it's going to get a lot of airtime, as it should do. But I just personally look at the batting unit of the England Test match team, and as Ben mentioned, it has been a problem, and it is still a problem now, that when the ball does something and they're under pressure, there's something in that dressing room that consistently over the last few years isn't quite right mentally. Because yesterday afternoon, they're strolling the game. They're absolutely controlling the Test match. The captain himself, he'll be the first to admit in that dressing room, I'm sure, that he made 2 judgments of error once he'd got in on this kind of pitch. And we've seen it. If you get in, you've got to capitalise. It's a pitch that wasn't easy to start on. So if you get into the 40s, you've got to go and get the 80s and 100s just to try and get yourself as a batting unit up to that par score. England didn't have enough patience and enough skill to be able to cope with the likes of Shannon, Gabriel, Kemar, Roach, Alzarri, Joseph. And that's not going to go away. That's not going to disappear in the space of 3 days. That we all know, and we've seen this Test match team. You go back to the first Test at St. Joe, under pressure, they didn't capitalise. You know, you go back to last year's. Actually, look at the Ireland Test match, Jaggers, at Lords last year. They were bowled out for nothing when the ball nibbled around a bit. And if conditions are in the favour of the bowler at Old Trafford on Thursday, you know, it's a real challenge for this Test match team to bat with patience, discipline, bat time, and try and get somewhere near a 300 score, which sometimes can be a par in English conditions. So it's just the batting I look at, and some real soft dismissals in the second. The first innings was 1 or 2 good balls. I thought yesterday, if you look and study the majority of the batsmen getting out, you know, Bess, I remember getting a beauty from Shannon, Gabriel, not a lot he can do, but he's a number 8 batsman. You just go right down the batting lineup of all the batsmen in the side. Pretty much every single one of them made a batting error and a glaring technical error or a mental error in terms of the shot selection, and that's something. It's not the talent. You know, all players have got talent that represent the country that you have to get here, but it's the mental side of the batting that again this week it's just highlight this is still a big problem within the England Test match team.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hand back to Simon Mann now from my position down here. Before I go, thanks to everyone for listening. I know it's been a strange experience for everybody, but I know lots of you out there are just really pleased to have Test cricket back again, and we certainly feel that as well. So thanks for your company over the last 5 days. I look forward to talking to you again on Thursday up at Old Trafford. And Simon, you can see us home.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game to commentate on as well. A really interesting game of cricket. And Michael makes the point actually about England yesterday. They were 249 for 3 yesterday afternoon. They lost 7 for 64. And the bowlers, well, they strived on that final day. 6 wickets, drop catches, a run-out opportunity as well. What do England do for the next Test match, Michael? I know you've been quite firm on Joe Denley's position in the side. So, root for Denley for you for the next Test match?
Yeah, Joe Root comes back at 4. Crawley goes to number 3. You know, the bowling combinations, I guess you're going to have to kind of wait to see how the bowlers wake up over the course of the next couple of days. Pretty much back-to-back games, so I'm sure we'll see Stuart Broad back in the side on Thursday. I'm pretty much sure of that. Whether it's the right call for both Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson to play together, you know, that's the decision of the selectors.
Could they leave out Jimmy Anderson?
Yeah, they could. I'm not too sure that would go down that well. Jimmy not bowling from his own end. Look, they could. You've got to win the series. England have to win the series. So it might be that they as I said before, Simon. You know, Stuart Broad, of course, makes England a better team. You know, with Jimmy Anderson in these conditions, of course it does. But again, I said it yesterday that, you know, we can't be a media group that goes to Australia in a year and a half's time, then criticise the England side for not preparing, you know, a bit of pace in their attack to try and win in Australia, because of the last 2 times we've been absolutely blown away. So I can completely see what the England team are trying to do. They should have won this week if the batting had been better, and if they'd arrived this week and got par scores in each innings, I'm pretty sure England would have won the Test match. So the highlight generally is always on the bowling, because it's usually a bowler that gets dropped. Yeah. You know, for whatever reason, it's just the nature of cricket. But I personally am just analysing the batting. It's just not been good enough once again.
Yeah, a lot of comment about Mark Wood in this Test match. Now, why is he playing? Wrong selection. This bloke took 9 for 100 in his last Test match.
He got man of the match against the West Indies in St. Lucia.
Yeah. What about West Indies? If Campbell is not fit, who would open the batting for them, Carlos?
Joshua De Silva got 100 in the warm-up game in Manchester, so I think he'd slot in to open. I think he's still in the reserves, but on the guys in the actual squad, Raymond Reefer, Raheem Cornwall, Shamarh Holder, definitely not putting him to open.
No, well, you can if you want.
I don't think any of them would open. It'd be a straight swap. I think Joshua De Silva would slot right back in for John Campbell. Shane Mosley's on tour as well, another Barbadian left-hander. But at this point in time, you can't look past Joshua De Silva.
What about the bowlers? A nice quartet for this game. Do they rotate as well because it's back-to-back Test matches?
I think you've got to win the series. No need to change. Unless one of the boys pull up and they're unfit and can't play, I don't see why. I mean, Jace wants to consolidate that number one or around the slot. Kemar Roach should be chomping at a bit wicketless in his last 2 test matches, but he put in a fantastic shift. He was economical. He never looked as though he was going to get a wicket, but he never looked as though he was out of place with ball in hand. Created a chance off Stokes, obviously got dropped sitter. Alzarri Joseph hardly bowled when he did in the second innings. He looked like a
really
proper
good,
test
didn't he?
bowler, And Shannon Gabriel just got 9, so I don't think any of those 4 would want to be out of the team. Just more of the same.
Carlos, the great thing for the West Indies, not only are they 1-0 up in the series, but they're going home. Old Trafford is where they've been based. They've been practicing on those wickets. They've been in the nets. So they'll be accustomed to that pitch out in the middle of Old Trafford, probably more so than the England side. So cash in.
I don't know how much home it would be. It's more homely for them than Southampton. But you would hope that. I think they've been here for 3 weeks before they came down to Southampton. They spent it all in Manchester. So, as a team, those are little things that you try to pull upon when you get a bit tired or you get a bit weary. Like, guys, this is technically our COVID home. So hopefully they can use it to their advantage.
Well, they might be sick of it. Who knows when they get back?
That's a good point.
Not this room again. I've seen these 4 walls for many weeks.
Nothing wrong with Manchester, Simon.
I didn't say there was. I just, sometimes you can have too much of a good thing, can't you? Thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you very much, Michael. See you both at Old Trafford on Thursday. If you have just switched on, we've missed a really engrossing final day. West Indies winning by 4 wickets. They scored the 200 they needed. It took them 65 overs to do so. Jason Holder was there at the end, so too John Campbell, who'd retired hurt and came back towards the end. But the match winner today for West Indies was Jermaine Blackwood. He didn't reach 100. He deserved one. He made 95 before he was caught in mid-off of Stokes. England paying for lack of first innings runs. You can watch video clips now.
Bye.